It's time for Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Welcome to McKeon Park. We're just about 12 minutes away between the matchup between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Brewster Whitecaps. Well, it's only been a day since these two teams played. There was an all-star game played yesterday, and the day before that, that's when the Harbor Hawks and the Whitecaps met up, and it was a tie, an 8-8 tie, but a very interesting game for two teams that have kind of struggled offensively at times, especially the Whitecaps. They were able to put up 8 runs, but it was actually the pitching staff that kind of struggled in that one. A bit of an interesting game for the Whitecaps, but their offense did light up. Steele Walker, Julian Infante, and Marty Costas all homered in that game. Hyannis also responded with a home run of their own. Rob Newstrom went yard in that game, so just really an offensive showcase from both teams, so it should be interesting to see what happens tonight when these two match up again.
Yeah, it was a terrific game. We saw those 3 home runs. We saw a lot of hard-hit baseballs in that game, and I'm sure Brewster and Hyannis both come into this contest with a sense of unfinished business going into that last game. Both of those teams really came in looking for a win. They really needed a W coming off of some losing streaks, both of those teams, and now a tie kind of resets the scales a little bit, but I'm sure they're both looking to prove who the true victor is in the final game of this little home and home.
There probably, I don't want to say there definitely, but there probably won't be a tie tonight, as this is one of the fields that has lights. The reason that the Whitecaps and the Harbor Hawks had a tie was because it did go 9 innings, but they couldn't go extras because there is no lights at Stony Brook Field. But there is lights at McKeon Park, so if we get into that situation, which who knows, there probably won't be a tie. But I'm not saying there definitely won't. Don't quote me on that. We'll get you started on the starting lineups. We'll start with the visiting team, the Brewster Whitecaps. Batting leadoff, Steele Walker. He'll be in center today, and batting in the 2 spot, it's going to be A.J. Graffinino playing shortstop. Batting in the 3 spot, Mickey Gasper, the all-star that played in yesterday's game for the East, and he'll be behind the plate catching. Batting 4th is Chandler Taylor, the left fielder for the Whitecaps today. Batting 5th, Nick Dunn, and he'll be at his usual spot, second base. Batting 6th, Marty Costas, and he'll be today's designated hitter for Brewster. In the 7th spot, Hunter Bishop, and he'll be in right. Julian Infante's batting 8th. He's the first baseman today. And then at third base, it's Connor Smith. And that's rounding out the lineup for the Whitecaps. Probably not a coincidence that all 3 guys that homered against the Harbor Hawks are in the lineup again today.
Yeah, it's a little interesting to see Marty Costas as the DH. Usually if Jamie Shevchik's going to work him into the lineup, we'll put him in the corner outfield position. But you're absolutely right, Maura. Shevchik wants to see the guys that he saw go yard in those past few games that had those good offensive performances get in there. And he's done this before with Marty Costas, where he's just tried to stick him in the lineup however he can. So I like this nine that Jamie Shevchik is sending out. He's told us and he's told the fans in our post-game show that he's going to try and send the best offensive lineup he possibly can from here to the end of the season, and he's doing that again for tonight's ball game.
And Ryan Avendano will be on the mound for Brewster. The last time we saw Avendano, it was a bit of an unusual game for him. He's been very solid for this Whitecaps team. Started as a temporary player and then turned out to be a starter on this Whitecaps squad, and Jamie Shevchik tried to make the argument for him to be an all-star in that team meeting, so he really likes Avendano. But the last time, July 15th, Avendano had 4 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 4 runs total, and 6 hits, and he walked 3, struck out 3, and this is a guy that has shut out teams before. He's had a good season, so it was just kind of an uncharacteristic game. Brewster ended up losing that one 4-2.
Yeah, and it certainly didn't help that he was going up against the Orleans Firebirds, who are one of the best offenses, best all-around clubs that you're going to find in this league. And you're absolutely right, Moravec. He has really stepped up from that 10-player role. This is a team that has never really had a consistent starting rotation, has always kind of been thirsty for arms. And Avendano has been able to provide some good consistency, and he'll be looking to get on the right track tonight.
And as you were saying, this has been a team that's bullpen, that starting rotation has been changing all the time. And we have 11 games left in the season, but it's still changing. Our own Aiden Doyle has more.
That it is, Maura. We've talked about some of the guys who have left this Whitecaps team this year, whether it be Zach Lingenfelter, Connor Higgins, Pete Schuler, the blows that have been delivered to this team based off of people leaving. But perhaps the biggest one was officially delivered today. Point Streak announcing, and the Brewster Whitecaps announcing that Robert Broom, their all-star reliever, was released. He had a .44 ERA on the season. He's being released because his head coach at Mercer, Craig Gibson, wanted to shut him down for the rest of the season. He doesn't officially fly out until tomorrow, so there is a chance he might stop by McKeon Park tonight just to say bye to his teammates. But he is a guy who, on opening night, as we've talked about so much, Coach Shevchik said was going to be an all-star, and he was 100% right about that. So to lose not only their best bullpen arm, but arguably the best bullpen arm in the entire Cape Cod League, we'll see how Coach Shevchik goes about it. I would expect to see even more high-leverage innings, even more high-leverage appearances from a guy like Sam Bordner. Back to you guys.
Thanks, guys. And some unexpected news there with Broom leaving. Definitely going to be a hit as this team moves on and looks to get into the playoff picture coming up here.
Yeah, fresh off of a great all-star appearance coming in, and as Aiden said, fulfilling Shevchik's prediction, and it's just going to have to be a case of next man up for this Brewster Whitecaps team. Like Aiden said, Sam Bordner is going to get a lot more innings, but out of the bullpen, you look at guys who like Joe Demers or Jonathan Steeper, guys whose jobs are to eat up innings. It's even more important now that they're down one more high-leverage arm. So this has rippling effect for the entire bullpen.
Well, not to leave you with some bad news, but we'll take a quick break here at McKeon Park for the national anthem. And when we come back, we'll have the starting lineup for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and then we'll get you right to the game. Stick with us. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back to McKeon Park. Sorry for the long delay, but there was a ceremony for all the back kids here at McKeon Park, just honoring the kids that work with the Harbor Hawks every day. A nice little ceremony there, but I'll get you started on Hyannis's lineup. Leading off is Reese Hampton playing center field for the Harbor Hawks. Hunter Stovall batting in the 2 spot, and he is also playing second base today. Batting in the 3 spot, it's going to be Micah Coffey. He'll be at third today. Batting in the 4 spot, it's going to be Tyler Frank, and he'll be designated hitter. It's going to be Rob Newstrom in the 5th spot. The right fielder today, Ryan Olenek, batting 6th. The first baseman, batting 7th, Daniel Robinson in left field. Batting 8th, Ford Proctor, the shortstop today, and rounding out the lineup and behind the plate is going to be Dominic DiCaprio. And it's going to be Tyler Vaughn on the mound for the Harbor Hawks today. As we were talking about the changes in the Whitecaps bullpen in their starting rotation, the Harbor Hawks are not immune to it either. Tyler Vaughn came in, and this is going to be his first game ever in a Harbor Hawks uniform, with only about 11 to 10 games for every team left in this season. Yeah,
so this will be a guy that Brewster has never seen before. They're going to have to adjust for the righty from Belmont. But that has kind of been the case for Hyannis. This is a team that's really kind of been trying to find what combinations might work. They've struggled to put W's together consistently this season. And so Tyler Vaughn, another guy in the fold here for Hyannis.
Vaughn got his practice pitches in as Steele Walker gets some of his practice swings in and enters the batter's box to start this game off for Brewster. Walker digging in.
Number 1, Steele Walker.
Tyler Vaughn out of Belmont, staring in for the first pitch. And it's on its way, and that one in for a called strike to start the count out at 0-1 against Steele Walker. Vaughn played for the Bruins and pitched the most on the team, as this next one is fouled off right into the backstop behind him. A little chopper there from Steele Walker to move the count to 0-2 as Vaughn goes ahead. As I mentioned, he pitched 100 innings at Belmont for the Bruins and had 96 strikeouts compared to 31 walks as he takes the first ball up high. Moves the count to 1-2 on Steele Walker. Walker seems to be moving into the leadoff spot for Brewster, position Shevchik likes him in. Next pitch is up and away for ball 2, so the count moves to 2-2. The 2-2. That one fouled, and it will tail as the third baseman, Smith, is on the move, and that one will drop foul just out of his reach. So Steele Walker stays alive, and the count remains 2-2. Walker batting .304 in the Cape League. Remember, he took a break from this Whitecaps team to join Team USA, as he'll foul this next one right to us, just right of the backstop, and stays alive in the count 2-2. Vaughn staring in, looking to get his first out, and Steele Walker will hit one right to the shortstop, Proctor. That one, Proctor didn't even have to move on, and he makes the grab and the first out of this first inning.
Yeah, that's a nice little looper, and you're right, Maura. Proctor just stayed right where he was. Didn't have to move a muscle to grab that one from Steele Walker.
As A.J. Graffinino digs in for Brewster with nobody on and one out here in the top of the first inning. No score yet. Here comes the pitch from Vaughn. That one, a breaking ball that finds a strike zone, moves the count to 0-1. Graffinino at his usual spot of shortstop today for Brewster. Here comes the 0-1. This one just misses. Down low, moves the count to 1-1. Graffinino swings and misses at the next pitch. So the count's now 1-2 on the Washington Husky. Batting .268 this year for Brewster, as this next pitch misses again up and away, and the count is now 2-2. Brewster trying to get somebody on for the first time today. It's only the top of the first inning. Here comes a 2-2. A swing and a miss from Graffinino, and that will be the first strikeout for Tyler Vaughn in the Cape League.
Nice off-speed pitch there from Vaughn. Looked like he pulled the string on a changeup to Graffinino. Like I said before, this is a guy that the Whitecaps had never seen before. They're probably not sure exactly what he throws, and I'm sure Graffinino will be remembering that the next time he comes up and maybe tell a couple folks in the dugout that, hey, he's got that off-speed pitch that he can go to. Watch out for it.
Now it's Mickey Gasper's turn to go up against Vaughn, as Vaughn staring in to the catcher today for Brewster. A low pitch misses below the knees of Mickey Gasper, and the count's now 1 ball, no strikes. Gasper was a Cape League All-Star, played in the game yesterday, as next pitch gets behind the catcher DiCaprio, and the count's now 2-0. Gasper taking some time stepping out of the box, and now he's back in. Count's now 2-0, as this next pitch misses on the outside corner, so the count is now 3-0. Gasper going ahead. And this next pitch, Gasper just took it for strike number 1. Counts now 3-1 on Mickey Gasper. As I mentioned, Cape League All-Star, played in the game yesterday. He was able to come home because he walked and score as the East Division won 5-3. Mickey Gasper takes the next one again for a strike, so the count's now full to number 9 for Brewster. Vaughn staring in, waiting on the payoff pitch. Here it comes. And that one finds the corner, paints the corner, and Mickey Gasper threw his bat away, as 2 strikeouts in a row for Vaughn to start out his Cape career, and the Whitecaps go out 1-2-3. We're through a half an inning of play here at McEwen Park. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on for Brewster. Stick with us. You're listening to the Brewster Whitecaps on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back to McKeon Park. Ryan Avendano getting in some practice throws on the mound for Brewster, as Reese Hampton waits to start off this game for the Hyannis offense. A 1-2-3 inning in the top of the first inning for Tyler Vaughn. As Avendano still getting in some practice throws. Mickey Gasper behind the plate, and I'll get you started on the Brewster defense. It's going to be Taylor from left to right, Taylor, Walker, and Bishop in outfield.
We do have a last-minute change to that Brewster Whitecaps outfield defense right now. Darius Hill is out in left field for Brewster. Hunter Bishop has taken over center, and in right field is Chandler Taylor. So looks like Walker, for whatever reason, has been scratched here after his first at-bat.
Well, with those changes, the infield remains the same. It's going to be Smith, Graffinino, Dunn, and Infante from left to right. Mickey Gasper behind the plate, and as I mentioned, Ryan Avendano on the mound. He'll face Reese Hampton to start off this game. First pitch from Avendano, a ground ball that finds the seam there on the third base line and is able to get in for a base hit to start off this game for Hyannis. That one just found the gap between Connor Smith and A.J. Graffinino. It wasn't a hard hit ball, but it just found the right place, and now that's a leadoff runner for the Harbor Hawks as Hunter Stovall digs in. Avendano looking over at Hampton at first. Here comes the pitch, and that one, another one. That one hard hit and drops into center field right in front of Hunter Bishop. And that's two back-to-back singles on just one pitch each from Ryan Avendano.
And we'll see if we can hear a little more about Steele Walker's condition. You obviously hope that he's not seriously injured, but came in, as we mentioned, just hit that line drive to the shortstop in his first at-bat. And I don't know if he felt something or if whatever took place, but he has been removed from this game, and it's Hill that will hit for him in the leadoff spot.
Luckily for Brewster, they have Hunter Bishop, who has been playing center field all year, besides when Steele Walker has been here, so that's a good thing for Jamie Shevchik's squad. As runners on first and second, here comes the pitch to Micah Coffey. That one's low for ball one. The first pitch we've seen from Avendano that hasn't been a hit. 1 ball, no strikes to Coffey, the third baseman today for the Harbor Hawks. Here comes the 1-0. That one below the knees. It was the count of 2-0. Again, it's Hampton on second, Stovall on first. 2 leadoff hits for the Harbor Hawks, no outs. In the bottom of the first inning, there is no score in this game. Avendano with the 2-0. This one paints the outside corner for strike number 1. Counts now 2-1 on Coffey out of Mississippi State. Rising junior. Had a good year with them, batted .288, scored 30 runs. Here comes next pitch, and that one again finds the corner and moves the count to 2-2. Avendano working his way back into this at-bat. The Georgia Bulldog taking a deep breath on the mound, trying to get back into the game. Here comes the pitch. This one fouled, chopped on the third base line, as Coffey stays alive in this one.
Getting into favorable counts and commanding at-bats with the first pitch strike is very important for Ryan Avendano. Fastball will be high 80s, low 90s, but he relies on changing speeds and movement, and you can't do that if you don't get ahead in the count.
Here comes the 2-2. That one on the outside corner, framed well by Mickey Gasper, but doesn't get the call from behind the plate. It's Sam Finn behind the plate today. Doesn't think that's a strike, so the count is now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Micah Coffey, also a Cape League All-Star. Here comes the payoff pitch. That one chopped into shortstop A.J. Graffinino, able to toss over to Nick Dunn in time to force the out at second, but Coffey beats. There is not even a throw because Coffey was on first before Dunn could even turn around. So now runners on the corners there on the fielder's choice from Micah Coffey.
Yeah, that one just moved a little bit too slowly. You wonder if Graffinino maybe could have charged that baseball just a little bit more, but in any case, Micah Coffey has a little bit of speed to him, and it was a nice job to just get the shore out at second. Now a big spot here for Graffinino. Hey, another ground ball wouldn't hurt in this situation.
So Hunter Stovall goes out in that one. Reese Hampton now at third, and as we mentioned, Micah Coffey at first. And here comes Tyler Frank. He's designated hitter for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks today. Avendano checking over at first. Here comes the pitch, and that one below the knees on the outside corner. Counts now 1-0. Frank plays at FAU, Florida Atlantic. He was first team All-Conference USA. Had a great year for them, including 11 home runs. So this is a guy that can hit. He also batted .336, and he gets on a lot. .448 on base percentage with the Owls this year, as he'll take that pitch from Avendano for a strike. Counts now 1-1. Avendano staring in, taking his time as Frank got some practice swings in there. Here comes the pitch. This one hit to third. Connor Smith makes the grab, throws it over to second. And Nick Dunn throws it over to Julian Infante. But that is not in time, so the runner is safe at first. So once again, we see another fielder's choice on that one as Tyler Frank was able to get to first in time.
And Hampton comes in to score from third base. It's tough, obviously. Whitecaps trying to get that double play. A terrific job to start it from Connor Smith, but they do wind up surrendering the run.
So Tyler Frank will get the RBI there, and now the score is 1-0. Hyannis takes an early lead. We saw them do this against the Whitecaps the last time these two teams played just 2 days ago. They got out to a 7-2 lead, and Brewster was able to work their way back, but Avendano, as he throws this next pitch in for a strike, trying to avoid that situation. Rob Newstrom up to bat for the Harbor Hawks. Newstrom, as we were told by the broadcasters of this Harbor Hawks team, this is going to be his last game for Hyannis. As Avendano stares in, here comes the pitch. That one hit hard into center. Hunter Bishop looking at it, and that fly ball, Bishop able to grab with no movement there, so one run does come in for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. They take a 1-0 lead. We're through one inning of play, and on the other side, we'll have the start of inning number 2. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back, as the Hyannis Harbor Hawks just took a 1-0 lead, and there was a bit of a defensive change there as Steele Walker left the game, and our own Aiden Doyle has more on that situation. Aiden?
Thanks, Maura. Well, I just got an update from Coach Shevchik. Steele Walker is out for the rest of the game with an Achilles injury. They don't think it's anything serious at this point, but they're not 100% sure what it is. He was playing catch before the game and felt a little discomfort, felt a little bit of pain in his foot or Achilles area, decided to give it a go, felt something he didn't like there in the first inning when he lined out to the shortstop, and as a precautionary measure, they took him out for the rest of the game.
Thanks, Aiden, as the first pitch to Chandler Taylor misses down and outside. Moves the count to 1-0. Chandler Taylor had to switch his original position, as we mentioned. He was originally in left, now he's in right, as he'll hit one hard on the first base line, finds a gap, and that's going to be a base hit for Chandler Taylor as he jogs into first. So Brewster responds to the big inning for Hyannis, and gets a base hit of their own, as Nick Dunn walks up into the batter's box for Brewster.
Yeah, nice job by Chandler Taylor, being aggressive early in the at-bat, going in and taking a hack, sending it into right field for a base hit. And now Taylor is a guy that you can never ignore on the base paths as well.
As Nick Dunn, someone you can't ignore in the batter's box, as he'll take the first pitch down low for ball number 1. Dunn has really come alive as of late. He's now batting .298. Has 12 runs and 28 hits for Brewster, 13 RBIs. Again, as I mentioned, really coming alive recently, as he'll pop one high into center. The center fielder, Hampton, coming in. That one stayed up for long and finally comes down, makes the grab, as Nick Dunn goes down for the first out of this top of the second inning.
Yeah, just a little lazy fly ball. Looked like Nick Dunn just got a little bit underneath that one. Perhaps shows a sign of some good movement there from Tyler Vaughn, that he was able to jam him there.
And now Marty Costas will enter for Brewster with, again, Chandler Taylor at first base. Runner going, Chandler Taylor on the move to second. He'll slide headfirst in, and he'll be safe as the throw from DiCaprio was just a little too high. And the shortstop, Proctor, had to jump up and make that grab. Wasn't in time, so Chandler Taylor swipes second.
Yeah, that was a terrific job, as you mentioned, Maura, to keep that from going into center field, because you know Chandler Taylor would have been digging for third if it did. But a terrific job by Taylor to catch the defense sleeping there.
Vaughn now taking his time on the mound, just gives a quick look over at Chandler Taylor on second, and he'll stare into DiCaprio and Marty Costas, who's a dangerous guy for this Brewster team. Here comes the first pitch. That one just finds the outside corner, or inside corner for strike number one. Costas, the designated hitter today. We're used to seeing him in the outfield, but today just hitting for Brewster. And he's been hitting well as he'll take this next one in for a ball. Counts now 1-1. Costas hitting .231, but he does have an on-base percentage of .373. A guy that walks a lot, but he has been known to hit the homer, as we saw him do it against this Hyannis team. And he'll take another one in for a strike. Counts now 1-2 on Marty Costas.
Yeah, Costas didn't like either of those calls, but they were right there on the corners. Good job locating the off-speed stuff so far from Vaughn.
Vaughn staring in. Runner in scoring position for Brewster at second. As Costas hits one to the shortstop Proctor, he'll make the underhand grab and throw it over to first for the out to get Marty Costas down. And runner still at second for Brewster with 2 outs and Hunter Bishop on his way into the batter's box.
That was a good play 2 ways. A nice stretch from Olenek, the first baseman, really laying out to grab that one, knowing that Costas has speed on the baseline.
So as I mentioned, with 2 outs and a runner on second, Hunter Bishop now trying to get Chandler Taylor to come home. Here comes the first pitch to Bishop. That one misses outside. Counts now 1-0 on the now center fielder for the Whitecaps. As we mentioned, Steele Walker out of the game. And Hunter Bishop was originally in right, now he's in center. Here comes next pitch, a swing and a miss from Bishop. 1 ball, 1 strike to number 24 for Brewster. Bishop trying to get his 9th RBI of the year with Chandler Taylor at second. Batting 194 as he'll take the next pitch down low for ball 2. As Tyler Vaughn goes behind in the count. There is 2 outs, and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks lead the Brewster Whitecaps 1-0 in the top of the second inning. The next pitch in below the knees, and that will be called as just above the knee, so that will be called as a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chandler Taylor with a little movement there at second, as Bishop will barely foul tip this next pitch. Just got a little piece of his bat, so he'll stay alive in this one. Brewster trying to tie this game up. They don't want to get too far behind, as we saw them do against the Harbor Hawks the last time these two teams played. Vaughn staring in, and here comes the pitch. And Bishop will rope one past the second baseman, Chandler Taylor, over to third, and he'll run into home and not make it in time. Chandler Taylor was unable to get home before the throw to Dominic DiCaprio was way ahead of him, actually, as Chandler Taylor slid in right into Dominic DiCaprio with the ball in his hand. So Brewster will not score on that play, and the score is still Hyannis 1, Brewster nothing after 1.5 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Good. Welcome back to McKeon Park as Ryan Olenek gets ready to start off this bottom of the second inning for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Hyannis was able to score in their first inning off a Micah Coffey fielder's choice that brought home Reese Hampton. Here comes the first pitch from Avendano. Olenek shows bunt and takes it for a strike as he was totally in, ready to bunt on the first base line, but missed that one. So the count's now 0-1. Here comes the 0-1. This one down in the dirt. And that will be ball number 1. Avendano had a rough start at the very beginning of that first inning and was able to work his way back. Gave up two leadoff singles as this next pitch again misses. Counts now 2-1. Olenek out of Winter Park, Florida, takes a 2-1 in the dirt. Counts now 3-1. Olenek plays for Ole Miss. Batted .272 with them this year. Started every single game. And he's a guy that has a lot of speed, so Ryan Avendano trying to avoid him getting on base as just as I say that, this next pitch is low and in the dirt, and Olenek is indeed on base as he'll walk to start this inning for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
Yeah, so far it's been up and down in terms of control for Avendano. Kind of reminds you of how he was performing against Orleans the last time he was on the rubber for Brewster.
And it's going to be Robinson, Daniel Robinson, up to bat. Playing left field today for Hyannis. Runner on first, nobody out, as Avendano will check up on Olenek, who has to dive back head first, but avoids the tag out. As I mentioned, Olenek has a lot of speed on the base paths. He did have 10 stolen bases with Ole Miss this year. As Avendano again checks up on the runner, and again he is safe back at the bag. Olenek has just 1 stolen base in the Cape this year, but he has tried 6 times as the pitch to Robinson is low. Counts now 1-0. Robinson out of Central Michigan. Bats are on the left side going up against a lefty pitcher, Avendano, and takes this next pitch, a breaking ball. Finds a strike zone, counts now 1-1. Avendano with the 1-1. A swing and a miss there as that one popped out of the glove of Mickey Gasper, and he quickly jumps out of his crouch, looks at the base runner, but no movement there at first from Olenek. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Robinson. Avendano shakes off a couple of signs from Mickey Gasper, settles on one, and apparently doesn't, throws it over to Julian Infante again, just checking up on Olenek. As I mentioned, he's been caught stealing a couple of times in the Cape League this summer, so Avendano trying to catch him again, as he'll make the throw over to Infante, and Olenek's getting a bit of a workout, doing some like burpees over there.
Yeah, you got to admire Avendano's respect here. Olenek is 1 out of 7 stealing bases on the Cape this year, tied for second in the league in caught stealing, but getting a ton of respect.
Here comes the 1-2. That one chopped into second. Nick Dunn makes the play over to AJ Graffinino, who throws it over to Julian Infante, but not able to beat Daniel Robinson, so that will force Olenek out, but Robinson able to make it to first. We've seen that 3 times today. The base runner just beating out that throw to first and avoiding a double play here for Hyannis.
Yeah, a little bit of bad luck for Avendano because he's been getting little slow numbers and by jamming folks, which is just what he's looking for, but they've been a little too slow for Dunn and Graffinino, the middle infielders, to try and act on them quickly enough. And Hyannis does get a faster runner on first here than they had before, at least if you're just judging by the stolen base numbers so far this year.
And it will be Ford Proctor's turn for Hyannis as the first pitch is off speed and in for strike number 1 from Avendano. Counts 0-1 on Ford Proctor. Proctor playing short today for the Harbor Hawks out of Rice University, as Avendano checks up on Robinson this time. Robinson doesn't have to dive, able to get back to the bag safely. And since Avendano's a lefty pitcher, it's an easy throw over there to right. Doesn't have to turn his body. Here comes the 0-1. As that one just barely misses for ball number 1. Counts 1-1 on Ford Proctor. Proctor batting .247 for Hyannis. He's already faced Ryan Avendano this year, as Avendano misses outside, moves the count to 2-1. Ryan Avendano came in relief against Hyannis in the second game of the season. That was here at McKeon Park. But now Avendano's moved into a starting role for Brewster, and somebody that Jamie Shevchik argued should have been an all-star. Shevchik came to the table with a couple of names, and Ryan Avendano was one of them. Here comes the 2-1. That one hit hard into left center. Darius Hill on the move, makes the grab, and he'll throw it to A.J. Graffinino. Robinson on his way back to first, not in time. Julian Infante able to get him out, step on the bag before Robinson was able to get back, so that will be a double play to end the inning for Brewster. Hyannis still up 1-0 on Brewster. We're through 2 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network. Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu, as Tyler Vaughn still on the mound for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. And Brewster is trying to get back into this game as they'll come up to bat in this top of the third inning. It's Julian Infante who will lead off. Connor Smith will follow him, and no longer Steele Walker leading off. It's going to be Darius Hill getting his first at-bat. As Aiden told us, Steele Walker just had some discomfort in his Achilles. They're just going to rest him. No word on the seriousness of that, but he will not be in the remainder of this game as Julian Infante digs in, the first baseman. We just saw him help out to work a double play there for Brewster to end the bottom of the second inning. First pitch from Vaughn, taken by Infante, up above the letters. Counts now 1-0. Next pitch, Infante hits high into center. Hampton on the move, but able to make the catch, and down goes Infante to start out this top of the third inning for Brewster.
Well, we've seen a few hard hit balls into the outfield tonight, and the dimensions of this ballpark are always kind of fun to look at. very shallow toward right field and right center, only 332 to the power alley out there, but in left center, all of a sudden, it's very, very big, a lot of ground to cover for the left fielders like Darius Hill, who made that great play to end the second inning.
Vaughn with the first pitch to Connor Smith. That's a breaking ball that drops in for a strike. Count now 0-1 on Connor Smith. Smith playing third base today for Brewster. Not his usual position as the 0-1 is on its way. This one below the knees for ball number 1. Smith usually at shortstop. We've seen him at second, but never at third. Here comes the 1-1 as he hits one right to the shortstop, Proctor, who makes the throw over to first. That one just barely in time over to Olenek at first, and that will do it for Connor Smith at that at-bat. And here comes Darius Hill.
Well, we've seen a lot of hustling down the first baseline, haven't we? We've seen 3 double play attempts get snuffed out for Brewster on the ground, and Connor Smith there with some speed trying to get the most out of that play as well. A lot of slow ground balls will do that.
And speaking of positions we haven't seen anyone in, as Darius Hill takes the first pitch from Vaughn way outside for ball number 1. Hill is the leadoff hitter today, again, as he's replacing Steele Walker. And this is his first at-bat, as takes the next pitch again for a ball, so counts now 2-0. Here comes the 2-0. This one drops in for a strike, counts now 2-1 on Darius Hill. Hill out in left field for Brewster now. Here comes the 2-1. That one misses way up high. Counts now 3-1 as Darius Hill just patiently waiting. And 3 balls, 1 strike, as here comes the pitch from Vaughn. And Hill fouls that one high and out on the third base line. That works the count full, so 3 balls, 2 strikes to Darius Hill. Hill trying to get a base runner on for Brewster. There's 2 outs here in the top of the third as Hill is able to hit one into short. Ford Proctor almost made the grab, but wasn't able to get there in time as that one dropped in, and Darius Hill's now on for Brewster.
We've got a good look at that play from where we're sitting behind the play a little bit toward the first base line. That was one of those plays where it looks like it's happening in slow motion, like a little slow looper. A good attempt from Ford Proctor to try and track down the baseball, but Darius Hill just got lucky. Plays that right in the shortstop hole for a base hit.
And the shortstop for Brewster, A.J. Graffinino, now up to bat. Darius Hill on first, 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. First pitch, a fastball in for a strike from Tyler Vaughn. Counts now 0-1. A.J. Graffinino struck out in his first at-bat off of a nice off-speed pitch from Tyler Vaughn as he'll check up on Darius Hill. The ball he throws over Olenek's head, and Darius Hill dove head first, but able to get up and jog to second. Really didn't have to turn on the wheels too much there, as there's a lot of room behind first. And Olenek unable to get the ball in time, and Darius Hill swipes second safely.
Yeah, Olenek was able to get his glove on it, but just popped over. It was, as you mentioned, more a high throw. We'll see exactly who the error winds up being charged to. But either way, a speedy runner in scoring position now for the White.
The catch almost collided there with Ford Proctor, but able to make the 3rd out of this top of the 3rd inning safely as Brewster gets 1 hit in this inning. No runs come through and 1 is left on. The score is still Hyannis 1, Brewster nothing. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back. It's going to be DiCaprio, Hampton, and Stovall all up to bat for the Harbor Hawks. Ryan Avendano still on the mound for Brewster. DiCaprio now digging in, and here comes a first pitch from Avendano. That one in for a strike as Avendano goes ahead in the count. 0-1. On another Rice University Owl, we've seen two in the lineup today for Hyannis. Here comes the 0-1. DiCaprio fouls this one into the backstop. And Avendano quickly goes ahead in the count 0-2. As I mentioned, DiCaprio behind the plate today. That's where he plays for the Rice Owls, and he had a great year for them. Second team all-conference, all-freshman team. As Avendano throws the next pitch, and DiCaprio hits it over to Nick Dunn, who makes the play over to Julian Infante, and that's good for the first out of the bottom of the third inning.
So far, we've seen pretty good hands from Brewster's middle infielders, Graffinino and Dunn tonight. Obviously, the infield defense has really struggled for the past 4 or 5 games for Brewster, and so far they've been able to make it some pretty good plays.
We've seen 4 errors from Nick Dunn alone in the past 2 games. Dunn, a guy that's been very consistent for them at second. Just as I was talking to some of the coaches for Brewster, just seems like he got in his own head there. Looks like he might be back as Avendano throws the first pitch to Reese Hampton, a breaking ball that finds the strike zone. Counts now 0-1. Hampton, the leadoff hitter for the Harbor Hawks. Low 1. That one just misses on the outside corner. Counts now 1-1. Hampton center field, and in his first at bat, the first pitch that he saw, he hit it for a base hit to start off this Harbor Hawks offense, and then he ended up coming home on a Micah Coffey RBI. Next pitch from Avendano, again misses outside, counts now 2-1. There is 1 out for the Harbor Hawks. We're in the bottom of the third inning, and they lead Brewster 1-0. Hampton trying to extend that lead. Here comes the 2-1. He'll pop one high, and that will go above us on the first base line and drop behind the bleachers. So that's 2 balls, 2 strikes from Ryan Avendano. Hampton out of UNC Charlotte, one of the 49ers. Avendano shakes off a couple of calls from Mickey Gasper and then settles on one, and the breaking ball just below the knees. Counts now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to the 49er. Reese Hampton takes a couple practice swings. The payoff pitch is hit into left field. Darius Hill on the move and is able to get under it. Moving back was Darius Hill, but he'll get the fly ball, and that will be 2 up, 2 down for Ryan Avendano in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, all the way back to the warning track there was Darius Hill. Did a terrific job tracking that baseball down. Tell you what, playing left field this ballpark is really difficult, and with Bishop and in center and the other really excellent defensive outfielder for Brewster, Walker, out of the game with his Achilles injury, there's a lot on Darius Hill's shoulders to try and have a good game out there, and so far he's made 2 excellent plays ranging behind where he usually sets up to make a play.
Hunter Stovall now up to bat for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch to Stovall misses upstairs. Counts now 1-0. Stovall got a base hit in his first at-bat to follow up Reese Hampton, but then was forced out on a Micah Coffey fielder choice as Mickey Gasper goes in to have a quick meeting with Avendano. Julian Infante, the first baseman, also joining them on the mound, as both will now retreat to their positions, and Mickey Gasper looking over as Jamie Shevchuk, it appears, is going out to have a conversation with Avendano in the entire infield for Brewster. We haven't seen a signal yet. It is the bottom of the third inning here.
Yeah, there's nothing doing right now in the Whitecaps bullpen from what I can see, so perhaps maybe, I'm not sure what they could be talking about here, but the whole infield is in. You hope it's not a health issue with Ryan Avendano that they're talking about. He has struggled a bit with his command tonight, and Jamie Shevchuk has taken the lineup card out of his pocket.
And there is 2 outs, and we are in the middle of the count. It's 1 ball and no strike to Stovall.
And I think he's pointing over to the bullpen. I would guess here that Ryan Avadano has a health problem as Mickey Gasper is patting him on the back. There's, as I mentioned, there was nobody warming in the pen, but that's going to be it for Avadano, so whoever comes in is going to have as much time as they need.
So Ryan Avadano will leave the game with an injury we're not sure about, but Jamie Shevchik just having a conversation with his infield as somebody else will warm up. We'll let you know who that is after the break. We'll take a quick one here. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back to McKeon Park, where Jonathan Stever is now warming up on the mound for Brewster. He has all the time that he needs as Ryan Avendano just left the game with an injury, and our own Aiden Doyle has more on that situation.
Thanks, Maura. Well, I just talked to Chev, and he said Ryan Avendano has left the game with some just some general soreness, with the team low on arms already. They didn't want to take the chance and risk him pushing it any farther, going and possibly maybe making it even worse. So it was more like as the case was with Steele Walker, more of a precautionary measure to take him out of the game. He's working with trainer Courtney Birch in the dugout right now, and he went to Stever out of the bullpen. Again, team low on arms, not wanting to risk it any further, and so Stever's into the game.
And Stever, a guy that we talked about earlier in this game, before this game even started, who has been asked to pitch a lot of innings. Him, Milto, and Demirs are going to be called upon in situations where they're going to be expected to go a couple of innings here in relief, and now it's only the bottom of the third. Stever entering against Hunter Stovall in the middle of a count. There's just one ball to him, no strikes, and it looks like Stovall now entering the batter's box. The count's again 1-0. Stever with the 1-0. This one fouled off behind us and behind the press box. Counts now 1-1. Stovall had a single off of Ryan Avendano in the first inning, as he'll foul the next pitch in the same spot. Counts now 1-2. Stever again came into the game, and there's 2 outs, so he just is 1 strike away from getting out of this bottom of the third inning. There's nobody on for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Here comes the 1-2. That one bounces in the dirt before it crosses the plate, moves the count to 2-2. Stever out of Indiana has been a workhorse for this team. Here comes the 2-2. That one's a called strike, and that will get Hunter Stovall looking and end the inning for Brewster. A very interesting one as Ryan Avendano goes out with just some soreness, but it's still a 1-2-3 inning for Brewster, as no hits, no runs, nobody left on for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Stick with us. You're listening to the Brewster Whitecaps on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
We welcome you back to McKeon Park in Hyannis. Whitecaps and Harbor Hawks here in their second game of a home-and-home, of course, bookending the All-Star game that took place last night in Wareham. We're entering the top of the 4th inning, and Brewster is trailing Hyannis 1-0 as Mickey Gasper will dig in. The pitch to the switch hitter hitting from the left side is just a bit outside from Tyler Vaughn. So far for Vaughn, has only surrendered 3 hits in this ballgame in his first 3 innings of work as Gasper fouls the next pitch off, just a trickler down the third baseline, and had a lot of English on it. Scooted foul. 1-1 is the count on the Whitecaps catcher. Gasper was caught looking his first time up. Second of 2 strikeouts for Vaughn so far tonight. 1-1 pitch is hit hard right to the first baseman, right on a hop. But no, they're going to say he caught it on the fly, did Olenek at first base. So that is out number 1. A nice job by Olenek to kind of scoop that baseball up before it hit the dirt. So Gasper is 0 for 2, and there's 1 gone in the top of the 4th. And that'll bring things up for Chandler Taylor. Taylor, one of a lot of lefties in this Brewster Whitecaps lineup tonight. It's not just because they're facing a righty starter in Tyler Vaughn. This ballpark here in Hyannis is very well suited to power-hitting lefties like Chandler Taylor. Just .332 to the power alley in right center. The pitch is a breaking ball that misses. Count 1 ball and no strikes on Chandler Taylor. He singled his first time up and stole second, but then was tagged out at home plate on a terrific throw from Newstrom. 1-0 pitch is fouled away behind the plate. That was as close as Brewster came to scoring a run so far in this game. Hyannis got their run on a fielder's choice ground ball from Tyler Frank that allowed Reese Hampton to score, and that's the only run we've seen so far tonight here at McKeon Park. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Taylor. It misses low to make the count 2 balls and 1 strike on the man from Alabama. Taylor is waiting on a 2-1. Here it comes. Fouled away. Just got a piece of that one. Really put a home run swing on that one, did Chandler Taylor, and has a bit of a smirk on his face as he walks back. Taylor, of course, was in the home run hitting contest back yesterday at Wareham at Spillane Field before the home run derby began. Finished 1 homer short of a title. 2-2 pitches hit high in the air into left center field. Moving back is the left fielder Robinson, still heading back, and now he makes the catch. Took maybe 3 or 4 steps back in straightaway left field and put it away for out number 2. So Taylor goes the opposite way, and there's plenty more room out there than it is to right center field, and he's retired. So 2 gone on the top of the 4th. And now it's Nick Dunn's turn for Brewster. Another left-handed hitter for the Whitecaps. Dunn hit a lazy fly ball to center field his first time up. There comes the pitch to the lefty hitter. It's a breaking ball that misses down and in to make the count 1-0 on the Maryland Terrapin. Dunn back in the lineup at his native second base so far has had some sure hands so far. 1-0 pitch is hit on the ground. 2-2, moving to his right. He can't get it. And into right field for a base hit. It is as Stovall just took a look at it. Hit too hard off the bat of Nick Dunn. So again, he's able to get aboard. There's a runner on first base with 2 men out for Brewster. And Marty Costas will dig in. A right-handed hitter for the Whitecaps. Costas, of course, has made a habit of getting big home runs for the Whitecaps this season. Vaughn stares in, now holds the set. Here comes the pitch. It's in there for a fastball strike. Lower half of the zone. We are in the top of the 4th inning. Whitecaps trailing the Harbor Hawks 1-0. Here in Hyannis, the lights have just turned on as they check the runner at first base. As night begins to fall here, still plenty of natural light to contend with here at McKeon Park. But the lights are indeed illuminated. Costas taking his time getting ready to dig in here. With the count, no balls and 1 strike. Vaughn now holds the set and delivers the 0-1. It misses down and away on a fastball to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. So far for Vaughn, he's been relying on his outfielders a little bit, getting a lot of balls in play, only 2 strikeouts. 1-1 pitch misses outside. Neither of these teams have had a banner year defensively. Brewster, of course, first in the league with an even 50 errors, but Hyannis is not too far behind them. They've got 46 on the year, which is 3rd on the Cape. Here comes a 2-1. Runner going for second. The pitch is outside, but throw down to second base is in time. They got him. Nick Dunn is caught stealing for the first time this season. A terrific throw behind the plate from Dominic DiCaprio, and that retires the side here in the top of the 4th. Marty Costas will lead off the 5th inning instead. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left for Brewster in the top of the 4th inning at the end of 3.5 innings of play. 1-0 Hyannis. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Back here in Hyannis, Jonathan Seaver returning to the mound for Brewster, and the first pitch to the lefty Micah Coffey is lifted foul down the left field line, out of play. Seaver came on to relieve Ryan Avadano. If you're just joining us, there have been a couple of injuries to Brewster Whitecaps in this ball game. Steele Walker had some Achilles soreness, so he left very early in the game as the pitch to Coffey is again fouled away to make the count 2-2. And then Avadano again, just general soreness. We're not sure exactly what he was dealing with, but as a semi-precautionary measure, he was pulled as well, so Seaver is in, making what is his 8th appearance of the year. He's got a 5.12 ERA entering this ball game in 19 1/3 innings pitched. The 0-2 to Coffey misses low to make the count 1-2. The score is 1-0 Hyannis on top. The 1 run scored in the first inning of play on an RBI fielder's choice from Tyler Frank. Brewster did their best to turn 2 on that play, but Frank was able to beat it out. Here comes the 1-2 offering to Coffey. Misses up high on a fastball, but just seemed to get away a little bit there from Stever. So that evens the count up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Coffey, a Cape League All-Star at last night's game, went 1 for 2 as a replacement third base. 2-2 misses up, so it's 3-2 now on Coffey, the man from the University of Minnesota, originally from Batavia, Illinois. Not often you find a guy who lives in Illinois and goes north to play baseball. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. It's a high pop fly toward the left side of the infield. Smith gets called off by the shortstop Graffinino, who puts it away for out number 1. Graffinino directing traffic there. It looked like Smith had called for that one, but the shortstop A.J. Graffinino waved him off and wound up coming over to make the play. Didn't have a ton of time. That wasn't the highest pop fly in the world. And now here comes Tyler Frank, who has the lone ribby of the game. That was his 5th of the season on that fielder's choice in the first inning. Frank ready for his first pitch. The pitch to the right-hander is up and in. Nearly hit him, but he dove away. Just turned his head and his body to dodge that chin music offering from Stever. 1-0 is the count. Frank had a great game the last time these two teams met just a couple of days ago. A single, a double, a single, a trio of runs scored, and every one of his hits was hit really hard. Here comes the 1-0. That one's hit hard right to the shortstop Graffinino, who puts it away for out number 2. So Graffinino getting a workout early in this 4th frame. Hyannis on top 1-0 here in the bottom of inning number 4, and it'll be Robert Newstrom's turn. Newstrom, as responsible as Frank is really for that score, had a terrific throw from right field to gun down Chandler Taylor at home plate to retire of a side in the top of the 2nd inning. Had Taylor scored, it would have been the tying run for Brewster, but Newstrom got him with plenty of time, despite the fact that Taylor is a pretty good base runner. Here comes the pitch to the lefty. It's hit hard into center field. Coming in and moving to his right, it's the center fielder Bishop, and he slides and makes the catch. A terrific play from Hunter Bishop in center field. So it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 4th inning, just what the doctor ordered for Brewster. They need some length out of Stever tonight. We're through 4 innings of play. Hyannis still on top 1-0. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com, or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
We're back here at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Carter Woodeel and Morris Sheridan here with you. The Whitecaps are still looking to get on the board in this ball game. They're trailing 1-0 as we start the top of the 5th. And Marty Costas will once again dig in for the Whitecaps. He was in in the batter's box when Nick Dunn was caught stealing to end the fourth, so he'll be able to take his hacks again with the fresh count. It'll be Costas, Bishop, and Infante. Those are the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Whitecaps lineup due up in this frame. And the pitch to the righty from Tyler Vaughn skips in front of home plate to make the count 1 ball and no strikes on Marty Costas. Costas grounded out to shortstop his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. It's a bit chilly, a bit windy so far tonight here in Hyannis as the 1-0 pitch comes along. It just misses outside on a fastball. That was right at knee level. So Costas is one of the few players who is sporting sleeves underneath his uniform. He's got gray sleeves that he's wearing beneath that teal jersey. 2-0 pitch is hit hard and into center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Marty Costas sends that baseball right back where it came from, and the Whitecaps have a leadoff runner on for the second time in 5 tries in this game.
The center fielder from Arizona State, number 24, Hunter Bishop.
And now it's Hunter Bishop's turn. The man from Arizona State singled his first time up and was scored a single in the second inning, but had to watch Chandler Taylor get gunned down as a potential tying run at home plate. And that was it. That ended the inning. So over pretty quick for Bishop. Lefty digs back in here with Marty Costas aboard first base, and they will send him diving back to first. Costas has always wanted to take an aggressive lead. One of those guys who winds up getting a pretty dirty jersey even if he isn't trying to steal, even if he never breaks. From diving back, the pitch to Bishop is hit high in the air into shallow right center field. Coming in is Reese Hampton, the center fielder, moving to his left, and he makes the catch. So there's out number 1 here in the top of the 5th inning on a little lazy fly ball off the bat of Bishop. Seen a lot of those today. Seen a lot of jam shots from both sides.
The next batter for Brewster.
Tyler Vaughn, not a guy who's going to blow a ton of people away. He's got the fastball in high 80s, low 90s. A breaking ball and a change, which he used very well to strike out Graffinino, and we haven't seen a ton more of in terms of having the option late in counts. And now it's Julian Infante's turn. Infante hitting from the right side. He's 0 for 1 with the fly ball to center so far tonight. Holding the set is Vaughn. Here comes the pitch. It is in there for a strike on the outer edge on an off-speed pitch to make the count 0-1. Whitecaps trail 1-0 to Hyannis as we stand here in the top of inning number 5. Infante asking Sam Finn to wait as he digs back into the batter's box. He's ready to go. Here's the 0-1. Just misses low. A good effort by DiCaprio to frame that pitch, but couldn't quite get Sam Finn to give him the call. So the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Infante again ready to go, and they're going to throw over to first base, and Costas just dives back. Was really taking an aggressive lead. Looked like he might have been leaning there, was Marty Costas. But he gets back in time, so no harm, no foul. Looks like Ryan Rigby, the right-hander, is warming up in the Hyannis bullpen right now. Man from Mississippi State. The pitch is in there for a strike on the outer edge. Infante wasn't a huge fan, kind of cocked his head as he does. Julian Infante, it's interesting. When the baseball comes across, oftentimes he'll be shaking his head or nodding his head about where the ball is in the zone, even before it even reaches the back of the catcher's mitt. You know, long before the actual call comes in. Kind of lets his thoughts show in that way. 1-2 is the count on the man from Vanderbilt. Costas aboard first base with 1 man out. Here comes the pitch to the righty. It's hit on the ground foul, right side. Someone line right over toward the Brewster dugout on the first base side. Looks like everybody's going to be all right. 1-2 remains the count on Infante. The Whitecaps trailing 1-0. You know, this is baseball for you. These two teams met 2 days ago. We saw 16 combined runs in an 8-8 tie. We saw the Whitecaps hit 3 homers, the first time they've done that all season. And today, 1 run has been scratched across on a fielder's choice, and that has been it so far in the top of the 5th inning. We're almost halfway through the ball game. Looks like the catcher DiCaprio and Vaughn can't quite agree on the signs, so they'll go out and have a chat on the mound. And now DiCaprio will head back. 1-2 the count on Julian Infante as the sun continues to set here at McKeon Park. This place first opened in 1935. That was back when Barnstable High School was here. It was used as its athletic field way back in the day. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball foul back to the screen. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. This place reopened for Cape League Baseball in 1979. That was after it had kind of been left alone for 20 years after Barnstable High School moved. There was even a stream that had formed out in right field. And so similar to what they did at Eldridge Park in Orleans, they got the community together, a lot of volunteers. They fixed the place up, got it ready for baseball. Harborhawks have been here since then. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, cut on and missed, strike 3. Infante was out in front of that looping curveball, and that retires. That's out number 2 here in the top of the 5th inning.
That's 3 strikeouts for Tyler Vaughn. Not a guy that typically strikes people out, but he got A.J. Graffinino on an off-speed, Mickey Gasper on a fastball, and then a breaking ball there got Julian Infante. So just mixing things up and finding ways to get guys out. He's only allowed 4 Brewster hits, and 1 was a Hunter Bishop fielder's choice as Chandler Taylor ended up getting out, going home.
That'll bring up Connor Smith hitting from the right side. The pitch is in there for a strike on the outer edge to the Whitecaps' third baseman in this ball game. Smith has kind of found a role with this club as a guy who can just fill in gaps on the infield when he's needed. Today it's third base. Kyle Datris is still away from the team. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's in there for a strike at the knees again. Makes the count 0-2. Datris' sister is getting married, so he's away for the wedding. We saw Gahagan slide into his spot yesterday, or rather Friday. Runner on first base, 2 outs, 1-0 Hyannis. The pitch to the righty is hit high in the air, foul ground toward the right side. That one's on the run as a second baseman, and he makes the play on the run heading into foul territory. Stovall just kind of took charge there. The first baseman Olenek and the right fielder Newstrom were around that area, but neither one showed the initiative, so Stovall ran in and grabbed it, and that is out number 3 in the top of the 5th. For the Whitecaps in the top of inning number 5, no runs, a hit, and 1 runner left on. At the end of 4.5 innings of play, we're halfway through a regulation game already here in Hyannis, and it's 1-0 Harborhawks. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. We welcome you back to Hyannis, where the Harborhawks are still on top 1-0 over the Brewster Whitecaps here at McKeon Park. It'll be Olenek, Robinson, and Proctor due up here in the bottom of inning number 5. Seaver's still out there for Brewster, and he will deal the first pitch to the righty Olenek, who takes it outside for ball number 1 on an opening fastball. Whitecaps pitching has retired 7 straight Hyannis batters. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. That's what Jonathan Seaver will do. That was a strike, but he changed speeds on Ryan Olenek, and he was out in front of it. Seaver throws a ton of strikes. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It misses outside to make the count 2-1. Seaver in 77 1/3 innings pitched for Indiana this past spring only walked 9, and he has yet to walk a single batter on the Cape this year. 2-1 pitch is fouled back to the screen. Just got a piece of that one, did Ryan Olenek, and he kind of took a walk beyond home plate, knowing he just missed it. Also chatted with Sam Finn, the home plate umpire, making sure that was a strike, which it looked like it was from here. 2-2 is the count, and here comes the pitch from Seaver. It's fouled away toward the right side. That one in on the hands of Ryan Olenek. So we'll do it again with the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Olenek out of Ole Miss. Missed time with a concussion this past spring, but still hit .272 for the Rebels. Pitch to the righty, cut on and miss on a pitch that was tailing down and away. A terrific pitch there from Jonathan Stever for his second strikeout since he entered the ball game. There's one gone here in the bottom of inning number 5.
Michigan number 19, Daniel Robinson.
You don't see that too often from Jonathan Stever, that stuff that breaks away and kind of getting guys to swing out of the zone. I'm sure Jamie Shevchik and pitching coach Austin Straub are happy to see that. They've been trying to coach Stever to throw a little bit more out of the zone, work the corners a tad more. Here's Daniel Robinson, and he hits this one on the ground softly to first base, fielding it on a couple of hops as Infante. He flips over to a covering Jonathan Stever for out number 2. Nice communication there between Infante and Stever. A good job by the Indiana hurler to hustle over there, and a first pitch ground ball is the second out of the bottom of the 5th.
Well, Jonathan Stever kind of coming in unexpectedly and working quickly here and doing a good job as they're probably going to ask him to go longer than he would have expected tonight, and working quickly, getting guys to swing at the first pitch. That's gonna make this a lot easier for Stever.
So here is Ford Proctor digging in from the left side. The pitch. It's a slow breaking ball in there for strike number 1. Proctor, his last time up, hit a fly ball into left center field that wound up turning into a 7-6-3 double play. Darius Hill made a terrific play running into the left center field gap and hung out to dry was the base runner Daniel Robinson. He was easily gunned down on a relay throw from the shortstop Graffinino, as Proctor gets some advice from head coach Chad Gassman from Hyannis, who's out there coaching third. And now we'll head back into the batter's box. Ford Proctor, a rising junior from Beaumont, Texas. Part of a Rice University Owls team that won the Conference USA title in a walk-off, on a beating Southern Miss, who, keep in mind, were good enough to host a regional. 0-1 pitch is lifted into the air, shallow left field, moving back as a shortstop Graffinino, and he makes the catch, maybe 3 or 4 steps beyond the edge of the infield dirt. So it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th inning. Jonathan Stever just keeps on chugging for the Brewster Whitecaps, doing just what Jamie Shevchik needs, eating up some innings right now. We're through 5 innings of play. It's 1-0 Harbor Hawks. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. We welcome you back to Hyannis. Carter Badil and Morris Sheridan here with you. We're starting the top of the 6th inning. Hyannis is ahead 1-0, and there's a new pitcher. 5 scoreless innings in his Cape League debut for Tyler Vaughn, but he will now give way to the Cape League All-Star Ryan Weiss, the right-hander out of Wright State University. For Weiss, this is appearance number 12 on the season for the Harbor Hawks. He has made 3 starts. The rest have been out of the bullpen, has 1 save to his credit. In 21 innings pitched, he's got an ERA of 3. He's given up 19 hits in those 21 innings. He has walked just 3 batters and struck out 22. Those are all-star numbers for sure. The numbers on Vaughn in his outing, a terrific one. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Brewster's really struggled to draw a walk in these past couple of games against Hyannis. They only had 2 back on Friday, and one of those was intentional. This is a team that still is in first place in the Cape League in walks by a pretty wide margin. Anyway, it'll be the top of the order for Brewster here in the top of the 6th, though the top of the order is a bit modified. Darius Hill is leading things off for the Whitecaps. If you're just joining us, Steele Walker, the traditional leadoff hitter ever since he's come back for the Whitecaps, had his first at-bat, lined out to the shortstop, and then left the game with some Achilles soreness. More of a precautionary measure than anything else is what we've been told. So here comes the first pitch from Weiss to the lefty Darius Hill. And Hill takes a strike in there at the knees. Weiss has a fastball that can get up to 93, sits in the low 90s. Another guy who really likes to fill up the zone. Also has a curveball that he likes to go to. 0-1 pitch is a soft ground ball left side. Running into field, it is the shortstop Ford Proctor. He throws to first base for the out. Nice arm there from Ford Proctor and some quick hands to scoop that one up off the infield grass and nab Darius Hill for out number 1 of the top of the 6th inning. So speaking of shortstops, here's A.J. Graffinino, another lefty hitter for this Whitecaps team. Up against the righty Ryan Weiss. Graffinino is 0-for-2 so far in this ball game tonight, including a strikeout against Tyler Vaughn. Here comes the pitch. Just a bit low on an opening fastball from Ryan Weiss. Weiss, another player from Illinois, both pitchers for Hyannis from Illinois. Hailing from South Elgin, here comes the 1-0 pitch. That's in there for a called strike on a fastball. That pitch looked very similar to the first one, right there at the knees. Sam Finn, the home plate ump, judges it strike number 1. 1 ball and 1 strike on A.J. Graffinino. It's 1-0 Hyannis here in the top of the 6th. The pitch is fouled back to the screen. Just barely got a piece to the man from the University of Washington. So the count is 1-2. Weiss did get in to the All-Star game last night in Wareham. He pitched the 3rd inning for the West Division. Gave up 1 hit and 1 walk, but didn't allow any runs to come in. 1-2 pitch. Misses low. To make the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Really was a great night in Wareham last night. Got over 7,000 people for the All-Star game, which the East Division wound up winning by a score of 5-3. Always terrific crowds here on McCabe, but when you can get them all together at the same time, it really is something. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Just misses outside. That was very close. On an off-speed pitch, 3-2 is the count now on Graffinino. The only run in this game scored way back in the bottom of the 1st inning. It was a fielder's choice ground ball by Frank that allowed it to score. Here comes the 3-2. Swing and a miss, he got him. Blew the fastball by him. A good job changing speeds there from Ryan Weiss. And the first 2 Brewster hitters are retired in order here in the top of the 6th.
The catcher from Bryant University, number 9, Mickey Gasper.
First strikeout for Weiss, and now Mickey Gasper will come up. Speaking of all-stars, an all-star matchup here between Weiss and Gasper. Gasper played all 9 innings last night in Wareham. Really was the only guy who could play first base on the roster, so he played the full game. He's hitting from the left side. The pitch is in there for a strike to the switch hitter. So 0-1 the count on Mickey Gasper. So far for Mickey, a strikeout and a line drive to the first baseman Olenek. That's his day. 0-1 pitch. Just misses up. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. That strike zone for Gasper maybe not quite as tall as it is for some other players. He's listed as 5'11", a catcher by trade. Here comes the 1-1. It's in on the ground right side, just kicks foul. Wide of the first base bag, so the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Mickey Gasper. It's 1-0. Hyannis is ahead here in the top of inning number 6. Been a very quick-moving game, a pitcher's duel so far. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Misses outside on a fastball. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 men out here at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Here comes the 2-2 offering. It's hit hard, a broken back ground ball to shortstop. Ford Proctor fields it on 1 hop and throws to first base in time for out number 3. So the Whitecaps go down in order. Hyannis pitching has now retired 6 straight Brewster Whitecaps here at the end of the bottom of the 6th inning. We are through 5.5 innings of play. Hyannis is on top still, 1-0. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. The pitcher's duel marches on here in Hyannis. We welcome you back. We're starting the bottom of the 6th inning here between the Whitecaps and Harbor Hawks, and Hyannis is clinging to a 1-0 lead. It'll be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters. DiCaprio, Hampton, and Stovall due up for Hyannis against Jonathan Stever. We haven't seen a ton of offense in this game. The last hit we saw for either team was when Marty Costas singled to lead off the 5th inning. And for Hyannis, they haven't had a hit since the very first inning when they scored the only run of the game. And Whitecaps pitching has retired 10 in a row, combined between Avedano and Jonathan Stever, who is still on the mound. And the first pitch to the righty, DiCaprio, is fouled back to the screen. DiCaprio took a big rip at that one, but just got a piece and fouled it back, so the count is 0-1. Stever in relief of Ryan Avedano, who left with some soreness after 2 2/3 innings of work. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. That one might have hit him in the helmet, and it did. That one might have just clipped off of the brim of the helmet of Dominic DiCaprio, just very slightly, just nicked him. So the leadoff man is aboard, first base runner in this game for Hyannis since the 2nd inning. With nobody out, I mean, you'll take the leadoff runner, right?
Absolutely, and that one, a pretty lucky one there that he was able to move his head out of the way. It could have been a much worse situation, as you mentioned, just grazed the brim. But considering they haven't gotten anybody on against Jonathan Stever, you're going to take what you can get.
Yeah, you could just barely hear that. Just joink off of the righty hitter's helmet. Anyway, we're back to the top of the order, and the pitch to Hampton is bunted right in front of the pitcher, Stever. He's going to throw to second base, and the throw is in time for the out. Stever with some quick reflexes. A nice job by Mickey Gasper to signal to throw over to second, and DiCaprio is cut out of the equation. There's one out now here in the bottom of the 6th.
And a nice play there by A.J. Graffinino to kind of stretch out. He was covering second, and the throw from Stever was a good one, just a little bit low, and A.J. Graffinino able to make that grab too. So just a nice play by the Brewster defense.
That's always a risky play when you go over to second base on the bunt, but it did look like they had plenty of time there. Hampton still has some speed on the base pass at first base. Here's the righty Stovall, and he hits this one hard into center field. Moving to his left and getting underneath it is the center fielder Hunter Bishop, and he makes the catch. There's the second out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. This game is moving quite rapidly here. We're an hour and a half into the game, and we're 2 outs into the 6th. Hampton on first base is 5 out of 6 stealing bags this year, and now it's Micah Coffey's turn, another all-star. Coffey digging in from the left side. One of Hyannis' all-stars, Jake Mangum, who got into the game, will not be playing for them the rest of the season. We heard before the game that he has been ruled out for the year with a quad injury. They don't want to push anything, and so he's finished. The pitch is in there for a strike on the inside corners of a lefty swinging Micah Coffey to make the count 0-1. We have no word, but it's related to the baseball off the back that Mangum took the last time these two teams met. He looked fine when he went out last night in the All-Star game. 0-1 is the count to Coffey. Here comes the pitch from Stever, and it's fouled back to the screen. No balls and 2 strikes. Jonathan Stever, a real typical outing for him. He has struck out 2 since he entered this game in the bottom of the 3rd inning, but mainly he's letting his defense do the work. So far, the defense has been up to the task, throwing a lot of strikes. Still trailing in this game 1-0 are the Whitecaps. 0-2 pitch just misses above the letters to make the count 1-2. Gasper did his best behind the plate to pull that one into the strike zone, but Sam Finn didn't bite. Always tough to get a call like that with the count 0-2. 1-2 is the count. Runner on first base with 2 men out. Here comes the pitch. Runner's going for second. The pitch is fouled away toward the left side. Maybe some room for Gasper. He'll run out of room as he took the mask off and looked at the baseball, but it wound up toward the last row of that little set of bleachers on the third base side. There is plenty of foul territory that is in play for players like Gasper and the corner infielders here at McKeon Park, especially over toward the dugouts. There's a lot of, if you strike out in this ballpark, the walk to the dugout is a little longer than elsewhere. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Misses outside. Gasper did his best to glove it, and he did. A terrific play by Gasper to just snag that in the webbing of his glove. Just got out of control there, out of the hand of Stever. So a 2-ball count for Jonathan Stever, kind of a rarity. 2 ball, 2 strikes. There's a runner on first base and 2 men out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here comes the pitch. Runner's going again, and it's fouled back again, and that one got a piece of Mickey Gasper. That one looked like it might have nicked him maybe toward the shoulder area. That's what he's gesturing toward, the left shoulder. His glove side, kind of wincing there, but it looks like he's going to be all right, giving the mid a few pounds, and a nice job by Sam Finn to give Gasper some time going out. He had a chat with Stever. Now he's asking for some new baseballs from the bat boy, just giving Mickey Gasper a couple of seconds to shake it off. The count is still 2-2, and it's still 1-0 Hyannis. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. And we are ready to play ball once more. Stever holds the set. The 2-2 pitch is hit hard into right center field. Moving to his right is the right fielder, Taylor, and it's going to drop in between the outfielders for a base hit. Heading into third base and sliding in there safely without a throw is Reese Hampton on the single from Micah Coffey. So a little two-out lightning here perhaps for Hyannis. It's first and third now for the Harbor Hawks.
And any hit we see in this game is going to be a big one, considering Hyannis hasn't had a hit since the very beginning of the first inning. So any kind of offense that Hyannis can get going here is going to be big, especially now that they moved a runner 90 feet away from scoring.
And here is the man who drove in the only run of the game back in that first anymore. It's Tyler Frank digging in. Hampton is aboard third base. Micah Coffey is on first. Hampton, as we mentioned, has great speed at third. Gasper's going to have to do his best to block anything that comes his way. The pitch is a breaking ball swung on and missed. Out in front of that one was Tyler Frank. That's a gutsy call from Stever to go first pitch bender in the zone. But knew Frank would probably be sitting fastball first pitch and got him to fish at it. 0-1 is the count on Tyler Frank, who, after that fielder's choice RBI in the first, hit a line drive right to the shortstop Graffinino. 0-1 pitch, misses low to make the count 1-1 strike. There's nothing doing in the Whitecaps bullpen. Jamie Shevchik trusting Jonathan Stever to get out of this mini jam here, first and third and 2 men out. Avadano leaving early with that injury. Here comes the 1-1. In there for a called strike on a fastball outside corner to the right-handed hitter. The count is 1-2 strikes on Tyler Frank. Big spot here for Jonathan Stever and the Brewster Whitecaps, who trail 1-0. Trying to keep this deficit from getting any larger, as a couple of days after these teams played in a 16-run barrage, it's a pitcher's duel here in Hyannis. Here comes the 1-2. It misses low in the dirt. Gasper blocks it. Runner's going for second base, and Gasper will just bluff the throw. He won't actually throw it out there. Good idea there from Micah Coffey to scamper over to second base, knowing that with Reese Hampton's speed at third, Gasper probably wasn't going to risk throwing the ball over there. That is going to be a wild pitch, I do believe, to move Micah Coffey over. That one just bounced in the dirt. So 2-2 is the count, and now Mickey Gasper is going to trot out and have a conversation with Stever. Just a few words there, just trying to get on the same page of what they're going to throw to Tyler Frank. This has been probably the toughest spot that we've seen a Whitecap pitcher in this game. 2-2 the count. Frank took some time and now is back in the batter's box and gets the signal from Sam Finn. Does Stever to resume. He holds the set with the count 2-2. Here's the pitch. It's foul back to the screen. A nice job by Tyler Finn. That was a break, or excuse me, by Tyler Frank. Sam Finn's behind the plate. That was a breaking ball in the zone, and Frank just kind of stuck the barrel of the bat out, very slowly waved at it, and doinked it behind the plate to stay alive. That's the sign of a good hitter when you know you've been beat. Just able to spoil a pitch. You can tell he's looking for a fastball here. 2-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch. It's a fastball. It's hit hard into center field. Coming in is the center fielder, Hunter Bishop, moving to his right, and he makes the catch going to the grass. A terrific play from Hunter Bishop. Another sliding catch for the man from Arizona State, and this time it saves a run. A terrific catch from Bishop, and that retires the side in the bottom of the 6th inning. For the Harbor Hawks here in the bottom of inning number 6, they do not score on one hit, and they leave 2 runners on base. At the end of 6th, it's still 1-0 Hyannis. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Taylor, Dunn, Costas all due up for the Brewster Whitecaps, and they'll face a new pitcher for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. It's going to be Christian Tripp, who takes over for Hyannis with his team up 1-0. Tripp, out of New Mexico, has a 3.38 ERA, and he's coming in 14 games, all in relief. No starts to his name, but does have 3 saves. First pitch to Chandler Taylor is in for a strike. Counts now 0-1. Taylor has a single to his name in the second inning. And then in the fourth, he had a fly ball over to left field. Here comes the 0-1 as that one's fouled high behind him and will bounce off the bleachers. That one making a thump right in between as everybody had to move out of the way over there in the left field bleachers, but just hits onto one of the seats and everybody's safe. So the count's now 0-2 on Chandler Taylor, playing right field today for the Whitecaps. Tripp staring in. Here comes the 0-2. That one again fouled, this time over the bleachers into the trees. Count still 0-2.
I bet you Taylor is really happy to see another righty pitcher on the mound here. They do have a couple of lefty relievers, do the Harbor Hawks, but have yet to use them here tonight. 3 righties.
Chandler Taylor batting from the left side. Here comes the pitch. That one in the dirt for ball 1. Counts now 1-2 on Taylor. Brewster had a chance to tie this game up at 1 in the second inning. Chandler Taylor on a Hunter Bishop single was on his way home from second, and the throw from Newstrom was just a gem, and that one caught Chandler on his way. As this next pitch, Chandler takes a breaking ball looking, and that will do it as he will walk back to the dugout, and that is a strikeout to start his time on the mound for Tripp.
Yeah, terrific placement there on that one. He's replacing Ryan Weiss's Tripp, and the line on him. He threw a perfect inning, and he struck out 1.
And now it's Nick Dunn's turn. He'll tap his bat on the plate and get ready from the first pitch from Tripp. Here it comes. That one misses outside for ball 1. Counts 1-0 on Nick Dunn. Dunn playing second base as usual. In the second inning, he had a fly ball to center field. And then in the fourth, he did single but was caught stealing from Dominic DiCaprio. As Dunn hits one on the first base line, Olenek unable to make the grab, and the throw as Tripp was trying to cover first just went out of his glove. So Dunn will remain safe on first. He thought about second there for just a split second, but will remain on the bag over at first base, and that's a base hit and potentially an error there.
That'll be a hit. That's the scoring that's come in, but really one of those things that doesn't show up in the box score. It was a terrific play from the catcher, DiCaprio. You mentioned that Dunn was thinking about going for 2. He didn't, because DiCaprio was backing up that throw in foul territory on the first base side. He scooped it up. Otherwise, they could have careened off of this brick backstop and gotten all the way behind the plate, and Dunn, who's got speed, would have taken second.
As Marty Costas will take the first pitch and get hit in what looks like the elbow. So Marty Costas just jogs over to first. Nick Dunn now moves to second, so 2 runners on. And quickly, Christian Tripp just getting into a little bit of a jam here as Hunter Bishop comes up to bat.
Yeah, that's why you wear the elbow guard, right? That one just clacked right off of it. And now another big spot for Hunter Bishop.
The go-ahead run on first, the tying run on second for Brewster. Remember, the score is just 1-0 here at McEwen Park. And Hunter Bishop now up to bat, trying to get this offense going. Brewster has 6 hits on this game, just unable to get anybody to come home. Tripp steers in. Here comes the first pitch to Bishop. That one misses up above the letters. Counts 1-0. Bishop did have a single, but as we mentioned, wasn't able to come home or anything because that inning ended as Chandler Taylor was out at home as Bishop fouls the next pitch above the bleachers on the left side. Counts 1-1. And then in the 5th inning, Bishop, who plays center field today, hit a fly ball to center field. So he's 1 for 2 on the day. Trying to get his 9th RBI of the year as there's a runner in scoring position for the Whitecaps. It's Nick Dunn on second. Here comes the next pitch, and that one misses upstairs. Counts 2-1 on the Arizona State Sun Devil. Bishop, also a lefty, going up against a right-handed pitcher in Christian Tripp. Here comes the 2-1. A swing and a miss there from Hunter Bishop. That one cut on hard by number 24 for the Whitecaps. Moves the count to 2-2.
Yeah, Bishop's a tall, lanky kind of guy, so when he puts everything into his swing like that, it really is something to behold.
The 2-2. That one misses up high and runs the count full.
And that was a great job to lay off on that high fastball there from Hunter Bishop. We've seen him chase a couple of those this season. Even the last game that these two teams played back on Friday, he chased a couple of them, and now he's in a much more favorable situation.
Tripp thought about the payoff pitch and then turned around, looked at Dunn, and then stared down Marty Costas too. Just wanted to make sure the base runners weren't moving there.
I like that. This is a spot where you might send them with the count full. They're both speedy. I really like that to just keep them at bay.
Here comes the payoff pitch. This one below the knees, and that will put Hunter Bishop at first, and the bases are now loaded for Julian Infante, a guy that has come up in big situations for Brewster, and the tying run now 90 feet away with Nick Dunn at third.
Yeah, they needed Infante to come up big in this spot here as well. I tell you what, as far as rallies go, this one's kind of strange. Infield single, hit by pitch, walk, but the Whitecaps will take it. Now it's Infante's job to make the most of it.
Well, we've seen much weirder rallies from this Brewster team.
It's true.
We have seen them come back from a 10-2 deficit by bases loaded walks, so nothing surprises us anymore as the first pitch to Julian Infante is swung on and hit hard into right field. On the move and makes the catch as Newstrom, and Nick Dunn will jog into home on a sacrifice fly there from Julian Infante. So the game is now tied at 1-1 as Hunter Bishop almost got caught there trying to in a little rundown situation, but he's now on the bag safely at first. Marty Costas is at second, and as I just mentioned, Nick Dunn just scored, tied the game up 1-1.
Yeah, did a terrific job doing his job there, did Julian Infante. Just gave the baseball a ride out to right field. Newstrom's a terrific defensive right fielder. It was no trouble for him to run it down, but it allowed Nick Dunn to easily come in from third base.
And that's 11 RBIs on the year for Infante as the first pitch to Connor Smith drops in for a strike, a breaking ball there from Tripp. Moves the count to 0-1. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. And again, the score is tied here in the top of the 7th inning. Smith swings on the next pitch and fouls it behind him to the backstop.
Well, I tell you what, it's pretty deep, as we've been talking about, to center and left center here in Hyannis. But even with that considered, Reese Hampton is playing very shallow in center field right now. Maybe anticipating a throw coming in, you know, to try and gun down Costas scoring from second, perhaps. I'm not sure, but he's very shallow out there in center field.
Counts 0-2 on Connor Smith. Does have 4 RBIs on the year, trying to get a 5th with Marty Costas on second. Brewster trying to get ahead in this game. It's all tied up. Marty Costas had to dive back to second as Tripp just turned around, didn't make a throw. Just kind of scared him back into second as Marty Costas again takes a bit of a lead over there at second, and Tripp now steering in. Swivels his head a little bit, and here comes the pitch. And that will be strike 3. Painted the outside corner on Connor Smith and got him looking, so Connor Smith goes down via the strikeout, but Brewster ties this game up on a Julian Infante sacrifice fly. They leave 2 on. The score is now 1-1. We're all tied up here in Hyannis, Massachusetts. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back, as this game is now all tied up. Brewster just scored a run in the top of the 7th inning. It's now the bottom of the 7th. The score is just 1-1 as Rob Newstrom takes some practice swings for Hyannis, and Hyannis tries to regain the lead they had for most of this game. They took an early 1-0 lead in the first, and Brewster just able to tie this game up, as I mentioned, in the top of the second. Jonathan Stever still on the mound for Brewster as the first pitch squirts out of the glove of Mickey Gasper, and that will be a ball. Counts 1-0. Stever, as if you're just joining us, he came in for Avendano after Avendano in the bottom of the 3rd was feeling some discomfort, as this next pitch from Stever is down low. 2 balls, no strikes to Newstrom. And Stever's been great. Really only got into a jam in the last inning, but was able to get out of it with no runs to come through. Here comes the 2-0. That one hit by Newstrom over to left. Darius Hill on the move. He'll go into foul territory and make the grab on the run. Running towards the fence, Darius Hill with another solid grab out there in left field. And that will be the first out in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah, I tell you what, we've seen 2 Whitecaps go down with minor injuries tonight. Steele Walker and the starter Ryan Avendano, and their replacements have been doing terrific work. Hill in left field has been doing a great job covering all the ground out there, and Stever is just mowing guys down.
First pitch is hit by Olenek, and that one will drop in for a base hit. Drops right in to right center as Taylor and Bishop unable to make the grab there, and Olenek gets a base runner here as Daniel Robinson comes to the plate.
The next batter for Hyannis, the left fielder from Central Michigan, number 19.
That one just the 4th hit for this Hyannis team. As again, it's just a 1-1 game, so not a lot of offensive production either way, but Hyannis hasn't had many hard hits. That one, though, a very hard hit ball that dropped right in for a base hit, and got a runner on for Hyannis, and that's the go-ahead run on first. And first pitch to Daniel Robinson, a strike right up the middle there from Jonathan Stever. Counts 0-1. There is 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here comes the 0-1. That one misses outside. Counts now 1-1 to Robinson, who's batting .312 this year for the Harbor Hawks. Here comes the 1-1. This one bounces in the dirt. Mickey Gasper jumps out of his crouch and stares down Olenek at first, who wasn't even thinking about second. Counts 2-1. Robinson is 0 for 2 on the day. Hit into a fielder's choice, as he'll take the next pitch and go ahead in the count 3-1. And Robinson also in the 5th inning had a ground ball right to Stever himself, and Stever able to throw it over to Julian Infante, or that was a bunt, excuse me. Stever makes the throw over to Olenek, checking up on him. We saw this earlier as Ryan Avendano was checking up on Olenek multiple times, as Olenek got on a walk in the 2nd inning. The 3-1 fouled off into the netting behind him by Robinson, runs the count full. And Olenek has only stolen 1 base this year. Got caught stealing 6 times. But he is a speedy guy, so Stever, both Avendano and Stever just keeping their eye on him, as Stever gives him a little look. Over at first, here comes the payoff pitch. Runner on his way, but he'll have to retreat back as Robinson just foul-tipped that one into the netting behind him once again, so the count is still full. Robinson staying alive here. Trying to move Olenek, who's at first. Get some offense going here for the Harbor Hawks. The score is 1-1. Fouled again by Robinson this next pitch. Olenek was on his way to second once again, and now will once again make the jog back to first. A long at bat here for Robinson, really making Stever work for this out. Something we haven't seen a lot of today from the Harbor Hawks. This game has been moving very quickly. And Stever again looks over at Olenek. Here comes the payoff pitch. That one in the dirt. As Olenek makes his way to second, it doesn't matter anyway, as that is going to be a walk on Robinson. And now runners on first and second for Jonathan Stever with just one out.
Well, that's the second walk of the year for Jonathan Stever. I've completely forgotten that Reese Hampton drew one off of him in the 6th inning of Friday night's game. But still a very rare occurrence for the man from Indiana. And now another little jam that he's had to work out of here at first and third in the previous frame.
And pitching coach Austin Straub will go have a quick conversation with Mickey Gasper and Jonathan Stever.
Joe Demers is up in the Whitecaps pen right now.
Just a conversation, though. We don't see a signal. And Joe Demers is still warming up and doesn't look like he's gearing up to come, as Finn is having a home plate ump. Finn is going over to kind of break this up. Stever will stay on the mound. And it looks like Cesar Trejo is coming in to pinch run at first base for the Harbor Hawks for Robinson. So Mickey Gasper is back behind the plate. Jonathan Stever staring in. Ford Proctor now up to bat. With runners on first and second, again, it's Cesar Trejo on first, replacing Robinson. First pitch is in for a strike from Stever. Counts 0-1 on Proctor. Proctor hit into a 7-6-3 double play to end the second inning, and then in the fifth, as he takes the next pitch down low, counts 1-1. And in the fifth inning, Proctor had a fly ball right to A.J. Graffinino at short. Here comes the 1-1. That one misses upstairs, counts now 2-1. Jonathan Stever going behind in the count. Proctor calling for time. Now ready for the pitch as Stever looks over at second. Here comes the pitch. That one again misses up and away. Counts now 3-1 on Ford Proctor. It's Trejo at first and Olenek at second for Hyannis. The 3-1. That one's hit high. Mickey Gasper takes off his mask, and Connor Smith, the third baseman, also moving. And Smith able to make the grab right in front of the dugout for the Harbor Hawks to get down Ford Proctor. Smith literally had his hand on the dugout there, right where everyone's leaning on over the fence, and was able to make that play. And so that will make it 2 outs here for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Now it's Dominic DiCaprio up to bat. And Jamie Shevchik will now be walking out to talk to Jonathan Stever. He gave the signal, so there will be a pitching change, and Joe Demers is jogging out to the mound as we speak. When we come back, Joe Demers will be up for Brewster, trying to get out of a jam with runners on first and second. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians, expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care, while Joe Demers replaces Jonathan Stever on the mound for the second time in 2 days against the Hyannis Harborhawks. It was Stever, then Demers in the last game. That game went a little bit differently than this one. The score is 1-1 right now. Hyannis and Brewster all tied up. Joe Demers coming in a mini jam. There is 2 outs. It's the bottom of the 7th inning, and there's runners on first and second. And Joe Demers is done warming up, and he will have to face the number 9 hitter for the Hyannis Harborhawks, Dominic DiCaprio.
Shooting for the Harborhawks from Duke University, number 17, Chris Proctor.
And it looks like DiCaprio in that opportunity there was switched out for Chris Proctor. Proctor out of Duke. No relation to Ford Proctor. They just happen to be on the same team. Demers staring in, waiting on the first pitch. He'll throw it, and Proctor will hit it over to Darius Hill in left field. Hill on the move, and that one will drop in just fair and bring home Olenek. Cesar Trejo running in, and he will also score, so it's now 3-1. As Trejo and Olenek will score on that hit there.
That was a ground rule double that hopped over the wall. That just barely was landing in fair territory right in there in the left field corner, and just hit, I think it hit the warning track when it was back out there, so plenty of room to rebound. In any case, the Harborhawks will take it.
The center fielder from Charlotte, number 13, Reese Hampton.
So Chris Proctor comes up to bat for the first time today and puts his team up 3-1.
Get out there and take a look. We expect the kids to hustle. We expect him to hustle too.
And I think we're having another discussion. We saw this. I mean, the parallels to yesterday's or Friday's game abound here, because Chad Gassman is out, and he thinks this ball cleared the fence for a homer. And this was, I mean, if this was a home run, it went right inside the foul pole. I mean, this was tailing toward the line out there in deep left field, and Hill was trying to chase it down, and Hill immediately, as soon as that ball went beyond the wall, was signaling that it was a ground rule double. That's how it is right now. That's how it stands. Now, of course, if that is a ground rule double, it's not 3-1. Trejo would have to stay at third base. So a very important call here, even if it wasn't a homer, because Trejo would have to stay at third if it's a ground rule double, which would obviously be a bad break, because he was going to score, you know, regardless if that ball had stayed in. And the umpires convene.
And they're all walking back. We still haven't seen a signal yet.
I think it's just going to stay as called.
So Cesar Trejo crossed home, but he will now retreat back to third. He is on third base. It is a ground rule double for Chris Proctor, but they do go ahead with the RBI there from Proctor. Makes the score 2-1 as Demers' next pitch to Reese Hampton, leadoff hitter, is a ball, also counts 1-0. 2 runners in scoring position. Joe Demers trying to get out of a jam with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. The 1-0. That one misses down low. Counts now 2-0. Hampton is 1 for 3 on the day. Had a single in the very beginning of this game and scored the first run for the Harborhawks, but then has been quiet ever since as he hits one to Darius Hill in left field. This one tailing in. Hill is able to make the grab and end this inning. But the Harborhawks do score in this inning on a RBI ground rule double from Chris Proctor. The score is now Hyannis 2, Brewster 1. We're through 7 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
31, Darius
Hill,
Day.
Graffinino, and Gasper all due up for the Brewster Whitecaps in the top of the 8th inning. The score is Hyannis 2, Brewster 1. Brewster tied this game up in the top of the 7th, but Hyannis was able to respond and regain that lead they had for 7 innings, or 6.5 innings of play. First pitch to Darius Hill. That one's low below the knees from Tripp. Tripp still on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. Counts 1-0 on Hill. He does have a hit today in the 3rd inning, 1 for 2 on the day, as he'll swing and miss on the next one. Hill's first at-bat was in that 3rd inning as he replaced Steele Walker, who only had the 1 at-bat to start out the game, and then, as we mentioned before, left the game with some Achilles soreness. Here comes the 1-1. Hill hit that one over to the pitcher himself, a little chopper there to Tripp, who's able to make the grab, throw it over to first, and retire Hill.
The next batter.
Yeah, Tripp didn't have to reach up too far for that. He's tied for being the tallest guy on this Harbor Hawks team. He's standing at a listed 6'7", so he can pull those baseballs down.
So with 1 out, A.J. Graffinino enters for the Whitecaps. Graffinino's 0 for 3 on the day, struck out twice today in the 1st and the 6th, and had a fly ball to center in between there in the 3rd as Hill bunt one up the 3rd base line and won't be able to beat out the throw from Coffey. So 2 up, 2 down for Brewster, trying to mount a comeback, and now there's 2 outs for Mickey Gasper.
The next batter for the Whitecaps. The catcher from Bryant University.
Gasper
Mickey
is also
Gasper.
0 for 3 on the day. He struck out in the 1st and had a line drive in the 4th inning, and then in the 6th had a 6-3 ground out as he also shows bunt and pulls it back. Count now 1-0 on Mickey Gasper. Gasper has been clutch for this team in the past, trying to do it again, but again, 2 outs as he'll swing and lose control of his bat on that one. Chandler Taylor with a little smirk. He's on deck right now, and he had to kind of move out of the way as Mickey Gasper lost control of his bat, assuming he's getting some pine tar and getting his bat back. We've seen that happen a couple of times this year to Brewster. We haven't seen it happen to another team that Brewster's played, but Kyle Datris has done it 3 times, and I believe Nick Dunn has done it once, and now Mickey Gasper, so that's 5 times on the year we've seen.
Now, I'd like to see the Cape League rankings in that category more. I'd like to see the Cape League rankings and losing your bat. Fortunately, there's a nice amount of netting here in Hyannis. It sags a little bit, so that baseball bat certainly made its mark in front of the bleachers, but able to keep all the folks safe. Always love it when we're at a ballpark more and the netting is covering all the seating areas. It's something every baseball park should have.
Here comes the 1-1 to Mickey Gasper. That one finds a strike zone. Counts now 1-2. Gasper batting .320 on the season. I was trying to get something started here for Brewster. They're down 2-1 in the top of the 8th inning. Here comes the pitch. Gasper fouls that one on the 3rd base line and goes way out into the trees. Just foul.
Again, fans, the Harbor Hawks would like to thank DJ
Gasper
Spain
staying
for
alive.
providing the baseball
Counts
season
1-2.
tonight's game.
Tripp now settling in. He did allow Brewster to score, but since retired the first 2 batters he faced, and now the 3rd as he gets Mickey Gasper swinging on that last pitch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Christian Tripp. The Harbor Hawks are still up 2-1 on the Brewster Whitecaps. No runs come through on no hits, and nobody left on for Brewster. We're through 7.5 innings of play. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn, Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience. A proud member of leading hotels of the world. Well, Joe Nemirs still on the mound for Brewster. Mickey Gasper behind the plate, and Hyannis still up 2-1 on the Whitecaps after Brewster went down 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th inning. It's the bottom of the 8th inning, and Joe Nemirs facing Reese Hampton to start off this bottom of the 8th.
Leading off the 8th inning for the Harbor Hawks, the second baseman from Mississippi State, number 2, Hunter Stovall.
Hunter Stovall digging in for Hyannis. Joe Demir staring in. Here comes the first pitch. That one in for a strike. Counts now 0-1. Stovall playing second base today as he takes the next pitch. Again, a strike from Joe Demirs. Moves the count to 0-2. Stovall singled in the first and then struck out after Ryan Avendano and Jonathan Stever changed hands. Here comes 0-2. That one just misses. Counts now 1-2. Stever entered that at bat with Hunter Stovall actually up in the count 1-0, and Stever was able to work the strikeout on that one. Here comes the 1-2. That one in for a strike, and Hunter Stovall for the second time today goes down on a strikeout.
Yeah, I think Sam Finn has called a pretty darn good strike zone tonight, considering, relatively speaking with the other umpires that we've seen. But Hunter Stovall did not like that call. He thought that was outside, and he's still looking back at home plate as he heads back to the dugout.
Micah Coffey now up to bat for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch he sees from Demirs. He just kind of chops, doesn't swing fully, but that one gets to Julian Infante on the first base line. Joe Demirs covers, and that's out number 2 for Brewster.
Nice job by Demirs fielding his position. He had to get over there quickly, and he did. Infante, we've seen him kind of turn the pitcher away and go to the first base bag when he can. First basemen like to do that. They never really like to have to make the pitcher cover, like to take matters into their own hands, but they're just right a little number toward the right side, and a great job by first baseman and pitcher.
So 2 big outs for Joe Demirs as he got the 2-3 batters up, and now he'll have to face Tyler Frank, the 4th batter in today's lineup for the Harbor Hawks. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Counts now 0-1. Frank has an RBI today, brought home Reese Hampton and a fielder's choice. That was the first run scored in this game. As he takes the next pitch in for a strike, Joe Demirs working quickly and gets ahead in the count 0-2. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th inning. Hyannis up 2-1. Frank stepped out of the batter's box, took a big breath as he waits on the 0-2. And it's on its way, and that one hit to shortstop. AJ Graffinino fields it, throws over to Julian Infante, and completes the out. So Joe Demirs responds and retires the side to end the bottom of the 8th inning. We're through 8 innings, and Hyannis still leads Brewster 2-1. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Well, the score is 2-1. We're in the top of the 9th inning. It's the last chance for Brewster to come back into this game. They're down, as I mentioned, 2-1. And I don't know if there's anybody else that Jamie Shevchik would want besides who's due up here. It's Chandler Taylor, Nick Dunn, Marty Costas, all due up in the top of the 9th. All guys that can hit the ball and have been hitting the ball. Chandler Taylor now digging in. Brewster, though, only has 6 hits on the day. Chandler Taylor has one of them as he'll line one to shortstop, and that one a hard hit one, but Proctor able to glove it. And that will, on the first pitch, Chandler Taylor goes down.
That is a tough break for Chandler Taylor. He hit that baseball right on the screws, but right where Ford Proctor was. That's tough, especially when you're talking about the leadoff runner in the 9th inning when you're down by a run.
Christian Tripp still on the mound as he'll throw the first pitch in for a strike as Nick Dunn swings and misses. Moves the count to 0-1. Tripp trying to end this game for his team with a win. Here comes the 0-1. That one drops in the dirt for ball 1. Counts now 1-1. Dunn has 2 hits today, 2 for 3 on the day. He's just been red hot as of late as he takes the next pitch for a ball. Counts 2-1. Dunn now batting .297 on the year. Getting ready for the 2-1. This one fouled high in on the third base line. Goes above the bleachers. Evens the count at 2. Tripp stretching things out on the mound. He knows he's just 2 outs away from ending this game. Here comes the 2-2. That one fouled hard. Almost hit third base coach Ryan Smythe, who was able to move his leg out of the way there. And Nick Dunn stays alive. Count still 2-2. Dunn ready in the batter's box. Tripp staring in. Here comes the 2-2. A swing and a miss, and he gets Nick Dunn swinging at that one. So 2 up, 2 down for Tripp here, and now it's all up to Marty Costas, and we're going to have a pitching change against Marty Costas.
I'll tell you what, that's a sure sign of respect here for Marty Costas' late inning home run ability. That Chad Gassman is going to signal for a new arm.
And a new arm will come in. We'll tell you who it is after the break. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back to McKeon Park. As I mentioned, there was a pitching change against Marty Costas with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. The Hyannis Harborhawks will call upon Nick Sandlin to try to end this game here against Marty Costas, one of the toughest hitters to face in this kind of situation because he is known for being pretty clutch. Costas will take a couple practice swings as Nick Sandlin is ready to go on the mound. He replaced Christian Tripp for the Harborhawks. Nobody on for Brewster. Here comes the first pitch. This one below the knees to Costas. Counts 1-0. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. And that one is in for a strike. Counts now 1-1 on Marty Costas. Brewster's down 2-1. They have just 1 out remaining in this game. Here comes the 1-1. That skips behind Chris Proctor, who's now behind the plate for Hyannis. Cesar Trejo also in left field. A couple of defensive changes for the Harborhawks. Counts 2-1 on Marty Costas. Here comes the pitch. This one misses inside. Counts now 3-1. Costas is the tying run here in this game, trying to just get on in whatever way he can. Here's the 3-1. That one misses inside again, and Marty Costas will get on via the walk and bring up Hunter Bishop in a tough situation with 2 outs.
The center fielder from Arizona State.
Boy, Bishop it seems like he's been getting a ton of high pressure at bats in this game. In the 2nd inning, he came in with a runner on second base and 2 men out. In the 7th inning, he came in with a runner on second base and 1 man out. And now he's coming in with the last chance here for Brewster.
Here comes the pitch from Sandlin. That one in for a strike. Counts now 0-1 on Hunter Bishop. Bishop has a single today. He is 1 for 2 as he also got on via the walk in the 7th inning, had a single in the 2nd, and had a fly ball to center in between those in the 5th inning. As Sandlin checks over at Marty Costas, who has to dive back to first, but is able to retreat safely.
Costas is 4 out of 4 stealing bases, and now would be a great time for him to swipe it back for Brewster. Of course, Sandlin knows that too.
Here's the 0-1. That one just misses on the outside corner. Counts now 1-1 to Hunter Bishop. Bishop, the youngest guy on the team, in a tough situation here. As Sandlin again checks up on Marty Costas, who has to dive back, but he's safe again. Count still 1-1. Sandlin with the 1-1. And that one's going to be hit to second base, or to shortstop, excuse me. And Proctor will step on second and force Marty Costas out. And Hyannis will take the 2-1 victory over Brewster. A very low scoring game here, only 3 runs combined, but Brewster drops this one on the road. As the 2 teams are now convening, high-fiving, but this one a really tough loss for Brewster. It seemed like their offense in the last game where they were able to tie it up, get 11 hits, was kind of coming alive again, and just like that, it can all just go downhill again as their offense gets just 6 hits and is only able to bring home just 1 run in this game.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when that winning run for Hyannis wound up scoring in a shutdown inning. In the bottom of the 7th, Brewster was able to tie the game in the top half, and then they cough it right back up, and it's tough, especially that Jonathan Stevers is going to get the loss for this game because he did a terrific job coming on to throw 4 innings of 2-hit baseball. Just wound up having that ground rule double come in that was given up, by Demers when he was on the mound, allowed the inherited runner to score. And you're right, Maura, this is another loss for the Whitecaps that really just stings, coming in against a team that right now is at the bottom of the standings in the West Division, a team that they tied and put 8 runs up against. Just a couple of days ago, the last time they had taken the field, just not quite able to squeak one out here.
Well, once again, the score is Hyannis 2, Brewster 1. On the road at McKeon Park, Brewster unable to come up with a win. The Whitecaps post-game show coming up after this break. Aiden Doyle will be on the sidelines with the player of the game, and as always, Coach Jamie Shevchuk. Keep listening to us. Morris Sheridan, Carter Woodeel with you. Stick with us. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Don't go anywhere. The Whitecaps postgame show is coming up right after this.
That was huge for us. It's huge for the momentum going into tomorrow.
Only on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
Welcome back to Hyannis, Massachusetts, where Brewster just fell 2-1 to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. A tough loss for Brewster, and not just a tough loss, a tough game in terms of the future for the Whitecaps, as Steele Walker and Ryan Avendano, both guys that had to be replaced in this game due to just discomfort, which can really mean a whole range of things, so we'll see what happens there. But both of their replacements, as we were talking about in the game, came in as Jonathan Stever came in and pitched absolutely phenomenally. He will get the loss, but not really deservedly so. 2 hits on just 1 run allowed to Stever. He only walked 1 and struck out 2. Jonathan Stever just coming in and doing a great job for the Whitecaps. And then Darius Hill, he replaced Steele Walker as the leadoff hitter and moved to left field for the Whitecaps, made a couple of great grabs out in left field, and was able to muster up a hit for this Whitecaps squad. So perhaps the shining light there, but still a tough 2-1 loss for Brewster on the road.
It sure is, and you got to admire an interesting decision from Chad Gassman to go to Nick Sandlin at the end of that game after Christian Tribb, who already had 3 saves this year, was performing so well, but he was able to come in and close the door after giving up the walk to Costas, got Bishop to ground into a fielder's choice and end the ball game. And for Brewster, it's now just about when they're going to be able to get on the winning track again.
As I mentioned, Jonathan Stever had a great day on the mound for Brewster in this loss, and our own Aiden Doyle has Stever right now to talk to. Aiden, take it away.
Thanks, Maura. Here with Jonathan Stever. Jonathan, you pitched 4 innings today, gave up just 2 hits. What was working for you out there on the mound against the Harbor Hawks?
I'm just trying to work more off the plate a little and just mix speeds throughout my outing, and hopefully to do some soft contact, which I think I did for the most part.
It was kind of a hit-the-ground running situation coming in after Avendano came out with an injury. How do you go from just sitting in the bullpen to, all right, you're on the mound, ready to go? How do you get that mentality just on the fly?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Luckily, it was pretty early, so I'd warmed up not too long before that, so it didn't take me too long. And just sort of, as I was warming up, just sort of get the mentality that I'm in the game and got to compete from there on.
You faced these same Hyannis Harbor Hawks just 2 days ago on Saturday. No, today is Sunday, so that was Friday. Did you notice anything, sitting in the bullpen against them, or talk to any of the guys who faced them that you took into this outing? Maybe some hints about certain players' strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, there's a certain couple players that swung a lot and swung early, so trying to use that to mix it up early in the count. I think that helped a couple times facing them.
All right, thanks, Jonathan.
All right, thank you, Aiden. And it's funny, as I think Jonathan Seaver might have pitched his best games for the Whitecaps, not really expecting to pitch those best games. I know we were talking about it. He wasn't even expecting to go in today, especially when he did go in. He went in the bottom of the third inning with Ryan Avendano coming out. Jamie Shevchik usually likes his starters to go about 5 innings, and Jonathan Seaver kind of came in unexpectedly. We also saw that against Chatham a ways back, I believe in June, when Lingenfelter came in, Paulie Milto pitched just an inning or two, and then Seaver came in and pitched one of the best outings we've seen from him. So Jonathan Seaver is a guy that Jamie Shevchik is probably thankful he can call upon in tough situations when this team's really in a pinch.
Yeah, this is a terrific performance from him. I mean, I've said this before on the air, but the pitcher record, I mean, it means absolutely nothing. It's something we shouldn't even discuss, and this is one reason why he takes the loss today. There's no reason. The reasons why Brewster lost in this game, I mean, if you were to list them, Jonathan Seaver would be so close to the bottom of that list. But it has been terrific for him, and the thing is, Jamie Shevchik's going to need more of it. I mean, he's going to need more from Jonathan Seaver and from the rest of his bullpen to eat up innings and keep guys going, because they lost another big arm today in Robert Broom after him being shut down. We don't know what the situation is with Avendano. Hopefully he'll be healthy, but you never know. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly how Jamie Shevchik handles this. It's all hands on deck for the rest of the year. And may need guys like Jonathan Seaver who can be versatile and be efficient.
Brewster hasn't won a game in a week. They did tie against Hyannis 2 days ago, but they lost 4 in a row before that, so it's just been a really tough stretch for Brewster. I'm sure that Aiden will talk to Coach Shevchik about this, but I mean, what do you think the fix is for this team to get back into the season, especially with very few games left?
Well, it reminds me of something that hitting coach Ryan Smythe likes to say. Losing is like a disease. It's contagious, but it's curable. That's something he has told this team many times over the course of the season. I think the Whitecaps just need to try and put things together and get a W and keep the ball rolling, because, listen, they're still very much in contention for a playoff spot. They're now 15-18-2 with the loss. At the worst, they're going to be tied in the loss column with Chatham, depending on how that game goes tonight. Chatham could be moving to 17-18. They could drop to 17-19. So they're right there. It's going to be those two teams for the 3 spot. Harwich is still in the cellar. So, and as Jamie Shevchik has said, if you make the playoffs, it's baseball, anything can happen. So I'm sure for Brewster, it's just a matter of going into tomorrow's game. They'll be at home versus Katuitt. You can watch it on Lower Cape TV tomorrow at 5 and try and get that win to start things going in terms of momentum, because that's what Brewster needs right now. They need step 1.
That game will actually be Tuesday, as tomorrow the players head up to Fenway for
That's right.
the workout that they have. So it's kind of a weird thing. They've played 17 games in a row at one point. They played 11 in a row, and now they're having 2 kind of breaks in a row here without a game, and I know Jamie Shevchik does not like that, as I wonder if he would credit part of this to having a semi-day off yesterday, as 3 of the Whitecaps did play in the All-Star game, as Aiden Doyle looks like he's grabbing Coach Shevchik right now. But just a tough luck loss for Jonathan Seaver, but for the rest of this Whitecaps team, once again, the offense just falls short, unable to back some great pitching for Brewster. It's hard to single out one moment, but one moment that stands out to me is the Chandler Taylor play, where he was running home from second and Newstrom just threw him out. Credit to Newstrom for an absolutely amazing throw. But you think about it a little bit, if Chandler Taylor had maybe just stayed on third, this could have been a different game.
Yeah, I'm sure Ryan Smythe will be thinking about that. The decision to send Chandler Taylor, Robert Newstrom, it's well known, but he's one of the better defensive outfielders on the Cape. And Taylor, obviously, a very important run there. Now, listen, I don't blame him for being aggressive for a team that struggled to get runners on base. You got to try and get the most out of the runs that you got. And Chandler Taylor's a terrific base runner, not just in terms of the speed that he has, but also his strategy on the base pass. He's shown, but he's very good at that so far this season. He already stole a base earlier in that. at bat. But clearly, I mean, it wasn't close, that play at the plate, and that would have been the tying run. A lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda. I mean, in baseball, you know, it's reaching back kind of far. Hindsight is 20/20, but you're absolutely right, Morb. That's one of those plays that kind of sticks out to you. And then the other one that probably for me, you know, another one that involves Chandler Taylor is when he led off the 9th inning, hit the ball right on the screws and lined it right to Ford Proctor, his shortstop. Again, a guy who's a great base runner, could have been able to get on to lead off the 9th, and instead Brewster had to start with in a hole with 1 out, then the strikeout from Dunn, Costas drew the walk, and then Bishop grounded out to end the ball game. It was just that kind of game for Brewster, just very close in a pitcher's duel. I mean, it couldn't be more different in terms of style and in terms of just general aesthetic from the game that we had yesterday, or 2 days back, excuse me, at Stony Brook Field. But the loss feels kind of similar to the losses that Brewster's had these past few days this week.
And Brewster unable to do something that they do a lot is walk. Today they only walked twice, and they struck out 8 times. Something usually that is completely different. Usually you would kind of switch those 2 numbers around for them. They walk a lot, and in these past 2 games against Hyannis, they've only walked 4 times. Something that's unique to them, and maybe losing a bit of their plate patience, or perhaps other teams just kind of figuring out how Brewster works.
Yeah, that's another tough. Yeah, I think the scouting reports, like you were saying, more is important, and it's tough for Jamie Shevchik and his staff because they were near the top in walks and strikeouts for a long time in the league. And Shevchik, he said on our air that it might have been because they were being a little bit too relaxed, a little bit not aggressive enough at the plate. And now Brewster is being maybe a little over-aggressive. So it's a tough situation. It's a tough call to make. But Brewster just not able to get as many base runners as they would. And you're right, more of it. That strikeout to walk ratio is just very uncharacteristic of the Whitecaps. And that's been happening throughout this entire, I guess it's not a losing streak since they had the tie. The streak without a win for Brewster, that's been one of the main culprits for the Whitecaps. They used to be able to set the table, and then they had trouble driving runs in. They've had trouble setting the table recently.
Brewster looking to just find a happy medium in every sense of the word, trying to figure out how to have games where they both have good pitching and good offense. Haven't seen a lot of that this year, but as we mentioned, Avendano and Steele Walker just kind of threw a wrench in the plan. Obviously not their fault, but with Avendano coming out, everybody responded well to this team. Just a hard loss for Brewster, falling 2-1. As our own Aiden Doyle still waiting on Coach Jamie Shevchik. But again, Brewster will face Cotuit at home. This is a Cotuit team that Brewster struggled with this year. They haven't beat them yet. And this should be a very interesting matchup against a team like Cotuit, who has been, very successful against the Whitecaps. They beat Brewster 11-1 at one point this season, and then took a doubleheader against Brewster at Cotuit. So this is the final matchup between these 2 teams, and it should be a tough one, especially for a team like it's a big matchup though, because this is a team in the Whitecaps that has done really well at home, and losing another one at home would be very detrimental, as it looks like Aiden Doyle got Tommy Weber, the bench coach for the Whitecaps.
Thanks, Maura. Here with Coach Tommy Weber. Coach, obviously, Chev the manager today, but you have a great perspective from the dugout. Jonathan Stever was great in relief today, went 4 innings, giving up just 2 hits. What did you see from the righty out of Indiana?
A lot of strikes. It's the secret that, it's the worst kept secret in the world. You got to throw a lot of strikes. You throw a lot of strikes, you get a shot. We played good defense, didn't commit any errors, which was very refreshing, but unfortunately we came out on the short side of it.
You mentioned the defense. That's been an issue for this team all season. Did you notice anything different in the way they approached the game or their preparation, or was it just a matter of coming back to the mean?
Well, we just have put in a lot of time and effort. Everybody on this club is working real hard to remedy this problem that we've had all year long, and basically we told them just keep at it, and eventually the tide will turn, and hopefully it has. Also, the rhythm of a pitcher like Stever tonight, who just kept throwing a lot of strikes, keeps your defense on your toes, and it's easy to make plays.
On Friday, when you faced these exact same Hyannis Harbor Hawks, you scored 8 runs. Today, only 1. You actually out-hit them 6-5. What was the difference offensively?
Big ballpark, wind blowing in, too many fly balls. we needed to put the ball in play a little bit more effectively, maybe on the ground and on the line. We hit a lot of fly balls today, and the ball wasn't going to go anywhere. So we wound up 1 run short.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Aiden. And that's an interesting point, as this is a bigger ballpark and obviously different dimensions no matter where you go. And so that can play a factor into a loss, but Brewster does fall in this one 2-1 to the Hyannis Harborhawks on the road. As we mentioned, the next time you will see live pictures against Cotuit, that's going to be Tuesday at home. We'll be on Lower Cape TV, Channel 99, and streaming live on YouTube, so tune in to that. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Maura Sheridan alongside Carter Woodeel and our sideline reporter, Aiden Doyle, and as always, Koki Riley writing some killer game stories for us. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll say so long from Hyannis, Massachusetts.